Good evening. We're going to open up the January the 15th commission meeting. First, we're going to have the invocation by Bill Maxwell. Then we'll have the Boy Scouts. I think we have some Boy Scouts, and I asked them to come up and stand up front and lead us in the pledge. Let's do we'll do the invocation, and then we'll do the Boy Scout Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Stand.
Let us stand, please. Our Father, we come to Thee this evening with bowed heads and with humble hearts, thanking Thee for all the blessings that Thou hast bestowed upon us individually, collectively, and as a community. We ask, Lord, that You strengthen our leaders, give them the vision and courage to lead, and we ask that our community, that the courage to follow and support. We thank Thee for a new year, for the new progress and the new steps that our city is moving forward to make life a better place for all of us. And we hope and we pray that You will guide our steps all the way. These and all other blessings we ask in Thy name and for Thine sake. Amen.
Amen. Okay, we'll have the Boy Scouts come up front real quick. We'll help them. They're a little bashful, so they're going to come up. Come on up, guys. Come right up here. Come back here. Come over here. You can take over later.
They can see you.
Time's coming. All right, let's everybody face the flag. Give us your scout salute, then y'all take off. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let's get a step toward your merit badge.
Uh-oh. Whoop. You okay?
Oops, somebody fell. Oops. All right. Is everybody all right? Ooh. All right. Let's see. Have the roll call.
Commissioner Grogan?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson?
Present.
Mayor Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Firstner?
Here.
Commissioner Oliver?
Here.
All right. We have a proclamation tonight. It's Crossing Guard Appreciation Day. Charlie, you going to accept this? All right. I'll go ahead and read it. Whereas many children must travel to and from school each day on foot or by bicycles, and whereas the streets and byways are overcrowded with trucks and all manner of motorized vehicles, and whereas the safety of our children is the utmost concern, and whereas we owe a debt of gratitude to our school crossing guards, and whereas these dedicated people stand out in the rain, heat, and cold day after day to ensure the safety and well-being of our children, and whereas day after day as we send our children off to school or as we drive past these dedicated people, we tend to take them for granted. And whereas it is appropriate that Ocoee school crossing guards, as well as all school crossing guards, be recognized for their dedication and commitment to keeping our citizens safe. Now therefore, the City Commission of the City of Ocoee does hereby declare February the 1st, 2019 as Crossing Guard Appreciation Day in Ocoee and urge all citizens to pay tribute by obeying our school crossing guards. Hereunto, and witness whereof, I have set my hand and caused the seal of the City of Ocoee, Florida, to be affixed this 15th day of January 2019. Mayor Rusty Johnson. I'm going to give this to the Chief of Police.
Thank you, Mayor. And you said a couple of key words. Make sure we recognize the safety in our school zones, as well as paying close attention to the children. Sometimes they're not paying very good attention, and it's up to us as adults that we make sure we drive safely in the school zones, pay attention to our crossing guards. Vital part to our children's safety every day. So thank you.
Please smile. Not a little smile. Big
Dad and son.
Oh, did you say that?
All right, under the next item is comments from citizens and the public. Now, I've got a few, so we're going to start with Mr. Vernon Reed. What it is, under the public comments, we give 3 minutes for public comments. Mr. Reed, I'll let you give them your address and all that, and tell them, yes, sir, stand right up there, or the other one, right where it says public there. Tell us all about yourself.
Hello. I'll start off with dark chocolate brownie, strawberry, butter pecan, rum raisin. My name is Vernon Reed, as Mayor said, and I'm the owner of Ocoee Cafe, where you can find creamy crunch homemade ice cream. And so those are a few of our flavors that we have there. We provide also other cafe items such as coffee and some sandwiches as well. And I'm just grateful to be here.
Tell them where you're at.
I'm at 381 North Clark, right at the corner of Silver Star and Clark. And I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be here. It was a generous and kind of Commissioner Oliver to invite me, and that's indicative of what I've seen here in the city. Everyone who's come through the door has been extremely supportive and have been giving me a lot of well wishes. And so I just want to say, me and my wife, my son is here, and my mother-in-law, we moved here to the Orlando area about a year ago, and our goal for moving here was just to be around family. And Ocoee exhibits a lot of that. We opened 2 locations, one here in Ocoee, one in Oviedo. It just happened that way. We're grateful for the challenge and the blessing, and we know that we're blessed to be a blessing. At the first store, we were able to, in our first week, take in revenue that we gave to an elementary school and a middle school, approximately $900. And we're doing the same thing here in Ocoee. We've raised so far just under $500, and we'll be giving it to the schools nearby. Again, grateful to be here. Thank you so much for this time, and we look forward to seeing you at Ocoee Cafe. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you. Yes, we'll see something.
Thank you very much. I especially like butter pecan. So keep
Mayor.
that good in stock.
I was wondering when it was opening, because when I did my shopping, I noticed you're right there at the public shopping center, correct? Just want to throw that in there to make sure we define exactly where you are.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor, I'm going to just ask you this right now. And there's some items on the consent agenda that I'm going to pull and request for discussion. And one of them, I see some of the residents here.
Number 10.
Yeah, number 10, so I just
Yeah.
want to let you know in case you get, I don't know
Well,
if you're
I'm not
going to
going to do
allow
those
discussion at that point,
till we get to number 10.
Okay,
so.
thank you.
Sorry.
I'm pulling 10,
right,
12,
yeah.
and 15, but just.
All right, next will be Bernie Hendricks and Joseph McMullen. Commissioner Joseph McMullen from Oakland, and Band Director Bernie Hendricks.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Mayor, for allowing us to come here tonight. I'm very excited that we have this opportunity to sit before you. I'm Joseph McMullen. You guys know me in different capacities, but the purpose we're here is, I run a nonprofit by the name of Habco Music Foundation. And with Habco, our mission is building futures through music, art, and education, and we do it several ways. We do classes and clinics throughout the Central Florida area. We collaborate with high schools, middle schools, trying to give them greater access to the arts. And then we also work with students, high school, and in college, giving them opportunities to perform live. And every year for the last 8 years, we've been doing a jazz festival over here at Ocoee High School, and we also do a jazz camp in Ocoee High School. Bernie and I, we've been knowing each other I've been knowing him since he was a little kid, because when I was in college, his father was a professor at Florida A&M University. And so I've been knowing Bernie since the early 80s, and now in the current years, we're here now. And so we are doing the jazz festival, jazz clinic all day, and we also do a jazz camp. And so I just want to come here and invite you guys out to come. Mayor Vandergrift used to always come. And so that was one of the things he used to do every year in February. He would sit down in the front seat and be a part of that. And then all of the commissioners, you guys used to come out as well. And so we want to say welcome, and we want to bring you out. And then I want to bring Bernie up so he can talk about everything that we're doing as we collaborate
with his school. So
I've been coming.
Yes, thank you guys again. Thanks for allowing us to be here. And the HAPCO Jazz Fest, which is coming up February 2nd, put it in your calendar, February 2nd, right here at Ocoee High School. We'd love to see you guys out. It's a full day of jazz. Right now we have 9 bands from throughout the county, middle school and high school bands that will be coming during the day. They'll be performing on stage. They'll be receiving clinics and workshops with for local jazz professionals. And then we have a concert that starts at 6:30. That's kind of like the finale concert, where this year we're featuring not only the Ocoee High School Jazz Ensemble, but as well we have the Otto Music Project, which is a local jazz group, and we have the University of South Florida's Jazz Tech coming up as well. So, and here's the good thing about it is we've been able to bring in a college group for 5 out of the 8 years that we've been running. We've had the University of Florida, we've had North Florida, we've had University of Miami, we've had University of Central Florida, and now this year we're adding the University of South Florida. So each year by bringing those colleges in, we bring the college professors right to the students, and they have direct access. They can work with them, they can talk about auditions and everything, and it's just another avenue for us to get kids from one place here at a high school level and to move them on to the collegiate level. So we hope you guys can come out. Again, that's February 2nd at Ocoee High School, and you can find information at hapcopromo.org, or you can find information on the Ocoee High School website. Thank you very much.
Before you leave, you did that just right. Before you leave, I've been going for the last few years, and I will say that it's one of the most interesting and great time with the kids listening to the jazz groups. And I will say that I've told people before that your Ocoee jazz band to me is as good as some of the college bands I've heard. So I think people in the town and around the area that does not come to hear this is missing a lot. I think it's something that we all need to see if we can extra advertise it somehow or another, get it out and let people know, because I think they're missing. I know it is just super that they put all their time in and during the day that day, and then come out that night and put on the show and do the entertainment. They bring in some great people to play. So I would say that everybody needs to pass it along and maybe put out some feelers and let people know. But also, I would also ask the commission, and let's see if we can donate some money towards the band, or for the event. Because I think you have to come there and see how much time and effort they put into these kids and this deal that day. So I think I'd like to see the commission, and I know Rob's not here to tell us, but you can tell us on the.
We have $45,000.
There you go. So we
Well, I
can't
don't
give you all
think
that though, Josie. You know how that is. You're in Oakland, so I would like to
Could we do
say,
the 500 that we normally do for, could we do the 500 that we normally used to do for grants for this event?
we could.
I'm just saying that only because we used to do the 500 for grants.
Yeah, I would, well, I'd say that, but I'd say 1,000.
Because, well, did we do something recently? That's what I'm just wondering. Was there something?
Yeah, we did that for the band went to,
For the band,
that went thing. Well,
Okay.
and that's another thing, you didn't tell them about that. The band went to,
Ran out of time.
huh?
Ran out of time.
I know. Tell them about that real quick.
Well, and again, thank you very much to the City Commission for helping us. This year, the Ocoee High School Marching Knights participated in the 2018 Thanksgiving Day Parade in Chicago, Illinois. It was a great trip. We were able to, thank you. We were able to take, thank you very much. We were able to take about 125 kids along with 20-something parents. We went up there, we traveled. The kids had a fabulous time. It was cold, but we managed. We managed to play our instruments in the cold weather. The kids did a great job, and it was just a wonderful experience. It's another one of those things we try to do to get kids outside of this Central Florida area to allow them to see it. And it's an expensive trip. It cost us about, as a whole, it was about $148,000, somewhere in that ballpark, to move the band up there. So we really do appreciate you guys helping us out in that venture. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right. So back to the money deal. You said five.
I said
hear
500.
a motion?
I'll make a motion for the 500. $500 for the HAPCO event, which is a wonderful event.
I'll second it.
Motion been made by Commissioner Wilson for 500, seconded by Commissioner Oliver for that. All right, any more comments? I'll try to raise you some more, too.
Well, I think they do, you do this twice a year, don't you, Joseph?
So,
No,
Sorry,
like
Commissioner.
we do
They
the
have
Jazz
to-
Festival once in February, and then we do
Yeah.
a week-long jazz camp
In
in
the
the
summer.
summertime. So we work, so that's part of what we do as far as the collaboration. We try to do what we can to come alongside programs. And so if you know, Mr. Bernie can tell you that a lot of those kids get access to colleges, the UM and
Yeah.
UF and USF, because of our collaboration. So that's why we come alongside him, not only just to help his program, but also to help those kids get to the next level. So that's part of our mission. And so these clinics, so the all-day clinic is free to the schools that come. And so we do this to help these kids get to the next level. But we really pour into these students here in the city of Ocoee.
Okay. I was just thinking you did I've been to both events, but I didn't
Yes.
know, okay.
All right, so, and it's coming out of the contingency fund. All right, let's vote. Okay, I'll be working on trying to raise some more.
Thank you.
All right? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. All right, next is Eli Sahab.
How's everybody doing today?
You good?
My name is Eli Sahab. I'm the founder of For the Kids Entertainment. I've been living in Ocoee for about 26 years. I served
You that old?
Yeah.
I'm 20. Yeah, I'm 27 years old.
Oh, yeah.
So my grandma had a house in Ocoee off of Johio Shores, Dovetail Drive, for 27 years since I was born.
Good man.
I serve the community. I have a passion for kids. See a lot of familiar faces. See a lot of kids that I dealt with. A lot of people that I deal with in the community. I'm asking that. I know you guys have auction, that y'all have stuff that y'all put out in bid. I did the previous. It was a trunk or treat event with Ocoee. They had a 5-day event, and I was out there. I set up my bounce houses. I have cotton candy machines, snow cone
remember.
machines,
Yeah.
popcorn machines, and for the past 4 years, I hosted the event at Coventry Park and Perry Lake Park. We had the fire department out there, the city of Ocoee. You guys donated goodie bags for 200 kids, and I just want to thank y'all for that. Can I get a round of applause for that? Yeah, man, I really appreciate that, because any way we can help each other to give back to these kids and change these kids' lives is a blessing. I mentor in the community. I'm looking to partner with anybody that's doing anything positive in the community. My company, we love helping, sponsoring kids. Me on a daily basis, I'm out there. I work with kids with autism. I mentor them. I'm the former director of Kids Community College. I was the after-school director. And so what I'm asking from you guys is, I know you guys have about 3 bounce houses that you guys are about to put up for auction. I know I've been following up with Mark. He's not here today.
No, he's not here tonight.
I've been following up
He's
with
in a
him, and I know they about to put it up for auction. I was just seeing if I could get the first-hand bid on that, or maybe even if you guys would be generous to even sponsor it to our company, being that I'm a young entrepreneur.
He is here too.
Hey, how you doing, Mark? So, well, here, Mark, I'm telling him about the bounce houses you guys have for auction. Maybe you can give me a hand on that.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mayor. We're surplusing them this year. That's what we're doing. So, and he had found out about that. So he just
Can we, all right, here's what we do. You gonna surplus those?
yes.
Can we discuss it and see if it's okay to do, or?
The commission can choose to.
What you got? How many you got,
make
Mark?
those Available.
We have 3.
How many you want?
We could use 3 right now, being that. But even if we had,
What condition are they in?
Good answer.
I have a question, what condition are they in?
What condition are they in, Mark?
Oh, they're in very good condition. We use them at like our Easter. We used to use them at Easter, that kind of stuff. But we've been.
Come up to the
We've
mic.
met with like risk management and stuff, and it's in our best interest to not do them ourselves, that kind of stuff. So we're gonna surplus them this year.
Okay.
Well, I got a suggestion. How about if we do donate them to you, in return, you can come to the functions that we usually put them in
That's-
and supply us with those.
that's perfectly fine.
All right, do I hear a second?
Is that okay?
Second.
Mark, just to clarify, they haven't been surplus. Yeah, okay.
When will they be?
They're on the agenda tonight, is it?
No.
It's not on the agenda?
It's not part of this surplus?
When it comes time this year to surplus, we're gonna surplus it.
Well, we can take them out of
Yeah,
this.
I think the motion would be, we would not surplus them, that we would just donate them in lieu of surplusing them.
So we'll remake the motion. We'll redo the motion to, instead of putting them into surplus, to donate them to the cause with the same circumstances. If you
All right.
get with Mark about when we usually use them and work it out, maybe we can work with each other.
All right, do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Oliver. Any more comments? No more comments, let's vote. There you go.
There you go.
Thank you, I
Get
appreciate
with
it.
the recreation. Yeah, there.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Mark.
Thanks. All right, let's see here. I got R.P. Manaki, 1820 Prairie Lake. You didn't put out what you were talking about.
Good evening. R.P. Monaghan, 1820 Prairie Lake Boulevard. Street lights. You got numerous street lights out right now, coming up Clark Road and also Silver Star.
Where's that at, Mr. Manaki?
Clark Road and Silver Star.
Are they out?
They're out. It's numerous ones, not all of them, but quite a few more.
Steve, Mr. Krug? We'll have, this is our, go ahead and introduce yourself, Steve.
Hey, Mr. Bernacki, Steve Krug, Public Works Director. We can submit them to Duke. We have a work order system with them that we follow up with a little more. It's basically the online system that Duke has, but they'll actually follow up with us on the status of it on a different level. So we can take care of that. We can submit it.
Actually, Duke maintains it.
Yes.
Yeah.
They actually patrol it to find out if they're working.
We actually, between the police department and our on-call people, make notes, and the police are very good at notifying us when they see lights out, and then we'll submit them.
Okay, you clarified, the police department also gets involved with this, huh?
If they see them, they do, but mostly it's Public Works when we see them out and people call in or go online and notify us.
Okay, but you got numerous ones out there.
We know, and Duke knows it too, they work on them. Usually they can take care of them in like a 3-day turnaround unless there's some major issue with the system.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Manaki.
You know, as a side note to that, I've been to some of the HOAs, and I found out that the street lights in most of the neighborhoods, when they go out, a lot of residents don't know what to do or how to get them, how to get that resolved. It's a quick turnaround to just stand by the pole. You can pick up your cell phone and call Duke Energy, and there's a number on the pole. You give them that number, within about 3 days, the lights is actually replaced. And they'll do it right there on the spot. So it is a quick turnaround for it.
That's not my job.
All right. All right, Denise Lewis.
Greetings, Commissioner, Mayor, and all the community and guests. I'm Denise Lewis, the founder and CEO of JV's Foundation. What JV's Foundation does, and before I get into that.
Give us your address.
The address, is 37 North Orange Avenue, and it's Orlando, Florida, 32801 is where the actual headquarters is located, but we do have a number of office locations throughout Florida. The first thing I'd like to say, I want to commend everyone here that spoke and let you know that we are excited about what you all are doing, and we'll also like to invite you to what we're doing, because your children actually fits right in with a lot of the things that we're doing, and I think it'll be a great, awesome thing for the community here in Ocoee. We actually service the city of Ocoee. We are partnered with Orange County Public Schools to provide an array of services as far as mental health, mentoring, anger management, as well as substance abuse counseling for our adults and children. We want to let you know that we currently have an event here. We work strategically with human trafficking. Human trafficking is something that is very not talked about a lot, but it goes on very much here in Orlando. Orlando is number 3 out of the United States, and it's something that is growing within our community with our youth. This coming January the 30th through the 31st, we have our Mayors Against Human Trafficking event. This conference is a two-day conference where we have mayors and elected officials from all over the United States and international. We have mayors and commissioners coming from Taiwan, Africa, Morocco, and different areas, and our surrounding areas as well. We do have celebrity guests there, and we also have a human trafficking victim that is now a survivor, 15 years old, that was being trafficked right here in our cities, that will share her testimony. We really want you all to be a part of what we're doing. I know I've spoke to Commissioner Fissner and some of the others, along with Commissioner Oliver has joined the fight against human trafficking. Senator Randolph Bracey has also joined the fight against human trafficking with us as well to combat these crimes in Ocoee. We provide all the services as well as mentoring and counseling, all these services, including career development and helping our youth to be entrepreneurs throughout throughout their careers. So we want to invite you and make sure that you all understand how important it is to what we're doing with the Mayors Against Human Trafficking. Now, I did talk to a couple of you in reference to joining JV's Foundation with the fight, and y'all of you were excited about that. So I think this will be an awesome time to where we all can get together with the World Conference of Mayors to actually speak on that and introduce you all as joining the fight in human trafficking in Ocoee. So we want to see if you all would help us in doing that by getting a table with us to support the victims of trafficking throughout our cities.
To do what now?
To support the victims of human trafficking throughout our cities. So we're asking if you all would get a table, for all of you, for the city of Ocoee, to represent the city of Ocoee and what you're doing in joining the fight against human trafficking.
How much is for the table?
The tables are...
Did you say table? I'm sorry.
Table.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's a sponsorship, a table sponsorship. The table sponsorship is $500. And we're asking if you all would do that, and that way you all have a seat to where you are actually representing Ocoee in this fight. There we'll have Senator Bracey, Commissioner Oliver is also would be speaking, our state attorney Amaris Aniala, the Honorable Mayor Jerry Demings will also be there, and we do have celebrity guest Vivica A. Fox, as well as Claudia Jordan will be joining us in this fight against human trafficking. So everything that we're doing in Orlando schools and Orange County schools, including here in Ocoee, we don't want you all separated. We want the world to see that we are united and that we are together in this fight.
All right, what is the day? You have two dates here. You have January 30th and you have the 31st.
Correct.
Which is the one for the dinner?
The dinner is the 31st.
Okay.
The 30th is a film festival.
All right. Mm-hmm. Okay. Commissioners?
So the table will be for the 31st?
I've already
How
read.
many is at the table?
I didn't hear you.
How many is at the table?
It's 8 at a table.
8 at the table. All right, I don't hear anybody make a motion.
Well, I would actually make a motion. I've sat down with Ms. Lewis at length and talk about this program, as well as speaking with other law enforcement officials. I was just not aware of human trafficking in our area. I see it on TV. I've seen it in the movies, but I've never seen it in my community until we had conversation. And then I spoke to some of my law enforcement friends to tell me about these things that go on around us, where you may have kids, maybe middle school, high school kids that are being held captive in houses in their own neighborhoods.
Absolutely.
So again, for me, it became a real, something that needs some attention after I did my research on it. So I would definitely support
this program in your fight against human trafficking. So with that being said, I would make a motion that we support this organization.
Now, I'll ask Commissioner Wilson, she brings it up for the, this was one of the programs that should put in for the grant. So, what do you want to make a comment?
Yeah. I don't know, see,
This should go through the grant.
it probably should go through the grant.
But, now, you
But
made
he's
a
got a
motion.
motion, so
You made a motion, so,
It was a
I'm
motion
waiting.
to support.
I have to have a second.
I don't know where the money would come from, so I would make a motion to support, and if we would actually support it with the table for the $500, that we would support it from the grant fund, or through the grant fund.
if we, okay, all right. Do I hear a second?
I'll second the support. As long as we go through the grant process.
All right. Anytime, and this is a great, I didn't hear it, I haven't heard about it, so I'm just finding out about it. I just got this. It says mayors, huh? Craig's what?
Mayor, we took those grant programs out of the budget.
Yeah, we did take, we took the,
We didn't take all of that.
we took the
The community grant or
CMA
the
out, but we have
Right.
still have the neighborhood grant. And I was gonna say something here. No, I know this is a very important issue for our community. I was watching something before I left the house today, but the concern I have is, I think you probably have called me, and, I don't know that much about this foundation. That's the only thing is, I haven't done any research, regarding your foundation. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but a lot of times we know some of the things that we'll go ahead and support. I don't know enough at this point, I think, for me. I don't believe I could even make it on the 31st. I don't know if we find out who can make the 31st to attend, getting a table, if you're looking for a table for us as commissioners.
All right, I'm gonna,
And if I can-
let me make a couple comments. What I'm gonna
Okay.
do is we got a motion, we got a second, we don't have the grant. I'll say it in just a minute. But this is one of the programs, the way we do it, we'd have done it through the grant, but we don't have the grant anymore, but it's still not in town, it's out of town, but it's still something that's important enough that we can help with. So I would say this time, we take it out of the contingency fund. I think from now on, we need to bring it forward and let's talk about it and bring the budget process. If it's gonna be something that happens, Commissioner Oliver's name's on this thing. No, I haven't heard about it, and I'm a mayor, but I haven't heard about it. It says mayor's against it, so, but I don't have a problem helping, but nobody's said anything to me about it. So what I would say is, if it's okay with the commissioners and we vote on it, we'll vote tonight to give it $500, and then we'll work on it from every year. If we do it again, we're gonna have to figure out how to
But before
budget it into the process.
Before we vote, I do have a question. As far as your foundation in the city of Ocoee, how would your foundation work within our city?
Well,
So-
we have been working in the city of Ocoee since 2014. And a lot of times as young organizations, we're overlooked a lot with a lot of groundwork that we're doing because we're doing so much work in the city of Ocoee. We are partnered with the school system. We provide services within the school system of the city of Ocoee. We provide events and awareness in the city of Ocoee, as well as trainings for any elected officials. Now, I know that, they may not have heard of the Mayors Against Human Trafficking, but which is why we bring it to them. And if they, on board, and if they, like he said, that is and it's not about the foundation, but it's about the people that we are supporting, the people that we are taking care of, and the lives that we're changing. We're changing so many lives throughout the state of Florida, and it's very important.
All right, let me ask something. This chief, I know Chief Brown's here and Deputy Chief, does the police work with this board? Does the police have any dealings that we go through the police for any of this? Because if it's this kind of problem, then our police need to be involved in it too.
Absolutely,
So I'd like to know,
which
are
is
the
something
police involved?
which is something that we really want, which is why we're here today, so that we can have the involvement of the Ocoee Police Department, because we have Orlando Police
But I
Department.
know, but
and
4
all that.
years in Ocoee, they don't know about it. I'd like to make sure that they're involved in it too, Steve.
Absolutely.
Because I do know that
Absolutely.
it'd be important if the police department was tied into it too, so.
Absolutely, and it's something that we want and we encourage for the police department.
Can you give her a card and make sure that y'all get where you can talk?
Absolutely.
Like I said, I'm gonna put it forward for the motion to do the 500 tonight, but it needs to go through the process. We can put, when we do the budget, in the budget year, we can put it in. If it's a program like that, it can be done. Like I said, it says mayor's against, and I haven't been called about it. And I would be involved, I just never was asked. So,
I sent some information to your email a couple of
I didn't
months.
get it.
No?
But that's okay. There's some things I don't get. But, and I think it's a worthwhile thing, so I got a motion and a second. So I'm gonna, if no more comment, let's vote. All right, carries.
Awesome. Thank you all so much.
You'll need to see, Finance Department. You can come see Sherry Seaver, our executive secretary. She can work with you, okay?
Thank you all so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Also, most important, make sure that you get with the police department, our police chief, and I would love to see some Ocoee law enforcement officials participate in this event as well.
Absolutely. I really want to see that because it means a lot to us and also the community. And I would love to also see our community get involved with us as well in what we're doing in the
All right,
code.
thank
So
you.
thank you all so much.
Thank you. I apologize, it's taken a while to do this, but I got two more. It's for the Orange County Tax Collector. Landra, I'm trying to, come on up.
It's my left-handed writing, sorry.
That's all right, my bad eyes.
Thank you for this opportunity, Mayor Johnson and the commissioners. Appreciate this opportunity. Just wanted to make a quick announcement that if you all don't already know, the Orange County Tax Collector's Office is actually opening in the West Oaks Mall. And we are actually going to combine the Winter Garden office and our West Colonial Drive office into that location. We will be the largest tax collector office in Florida. Actually, we'll be the largest one in Florida. Now, a lot of our offices are not as busy as they used to be because if you are using our system on a regular basis, you know that our Orange County tax collector, Scott Randolph, has actually brought the DMV into the 21st century. So you can do so many things online. You can go and put your phone number in and get in line, and when you walk in the door for your appointment, they literally call your number, because how do I know? I've done it myself. So definitely, we are doing a soft opening. I believe it's scheduled for tomorrow. We are planning a grand opening with the, of course, Mayor Johnson. And I'm not sure, I know that Mayor Johnson had a tour. I don't know if he
I did a tour on Facebook with 15,000 views.
Oh, wow, wow,
They
okay.
didn't tell you about that?
No, they didn't tell me about that. But definitely, the commissioners, you all are definitely welcome to do a tour as well. I have my card, or you all can just call our office. But I definitely, if you all want to do a tour prior to or anytime, would love for you all to come and see our new state-of-the-art facility. And we look forward to serving the residents of Central Florida, and particularly Ocoee. Thank you so much.
I will say that it's great. I went out a couple of weeks ago and met with Mr. Randolph and a couple of the other people, and we did a Facebook Live with that, and it's been the most viewed of all we've done so far. And it's amazing with how nice it is, and with how many, I think there's 67 booths that you can go to.
Yes.
And work to get your tags and license and things
Yes.
done now. But yeah, I looked at the thing this afternoon, it was right at 15,000 views.
That's
So,
fantastic.
it is
I
well
remember
out.
it was I didn't realize it was a Facebook Live. I just
Oh,
know
yeah.
that you all did the tour, but that's
Yep. Yes,
fantastic.
ma'am.
But really look forward to it, and hopefully we'll see you all for the grand opening.
Thank you very much. One more. And this,
She has something?
it says,
Oh, I'm sorry. Someone has a question.
oh, somebody got a question? Come on back up. Yep.
Where is it in the mall?
It is actually between Dillard's and I believe it's JCPenney. And there's actually, if you drive by there, you know the
No, it's, I'll tell you.
No?
It's, if you come in the back side, it's the back entrance that comes in from side Dillard's.
By
You come
Dillard's.
right in and it goes from Dillard's all the way down almost to the middle of the mall, on the east side.
The door is
It
great.
great.
Hidden. The door is definitely hidden.
Yeah.
So there's a little corridor.
They're gonna put a sign
You'll
up.
see, they're working on signage and everything right now. I'm saying, JCPenney, you're
But
absolutely
you can
right.
go in there and they'll put your phone number in and then you can go have coffee or something and go shopping and they'll call you on the thing and tell you when your appointment time is to come back.
It's right, the sidewalk is right next to the loading
Yeah,
dock
yeah.
for Dillard's. So I almost passed it myself, but they're working on signage right now, so it'll be really easy. And I'm sure you all will hear a lot about the grand opening, so. Any other questions? Okay.
Thank
When do
you.
you, when do you
Thank
open? When do you open?
We don't know.
January.
We're actually working on it. We're doing a soft opening tomorrow, but the actual date, we're actually
It's the 15th.
trying to hammer that out with the Chamber of Commerce so that we can do the big grand opening. So we're hammering out the details right
Yeah,
now.
it's an awesome system. I've used it twice, and
Okay.
it is awesome.
Thank
It
you
is.
so much.
Great job. I haven't been to that one. I went to the one
There's
on
nothing
West
like that.
Colonial,
Nothing.
using that system.
Yeah.
I know, I've used it. It's absolutely
Yeah.
phenomenal.
I call from home. I dial from home, and as I'm driving, I'm getting text messages telling me, well, you 5 minutes, 2 minutes. And by the time I pull up, I'm right in front of the line. So, yeah, it's a great system.
People roll their eyes at you when they call your number, but you're like, okay, I need you all to use the system because it definitely works. Thank you so much.
All right, I got one here from Maya Katz from Orlando. Is it Orlando? Yeah. Huh?
We're annexed, so we're.
Come on down and give us your name and it says you live in Orlando. Where's that, in Rose Hill or something?
Yes.
Yeah. We have a lot of different towns in our district.
Actually, I'm Susie Cates. Maya Slowinski is my daughter. She's over there. I'm here to speak on her behalf. She is a sophomore at Ocoee High School, where she's an honor roll student and she's a member of the weight team. She is very committed to the community and doing community service and also working towards a career national medal. But the reason why I'm here tonight is because she is a fencer. She's been training at Winter Garden Fencing Academy since she was 8. Last summer, she won a national championship, and she just recently won a bronze medal in a North American Cup in Cincinnati. Because of how well she's been doing, she was sought out and was chosen as one of 9 girls from across the nation to participate in the 2019 European Maccabi Games, which will be taking place in Budapest, Hungary this summer. The Maccabi organization is a nonprofit, and each athlete has to raise a specific amount of money in order to make the trip. She has raised $1,270 so far, but we're asking that the city of Ocoee, if possible, make a donation to help her get over to Budapest this summer. And that's it, 1 minute, wow.
All right, commissioners? Do they have fencing in high school or is it just a?
No, they
This has nothing to do
don't.
with high school.
No, it's completely separate. We would love to see it in the schools.
Oh.
Her coach does teach at some schools, but I think it's against the law in the state of Florida.
All right, commissioners, any comments?
Aye.
Go ahead, Roland. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm going to venture on this
Commissioner.
one, I think. As much as I'm going to say for me, I appreciate the efforts of our students and what they're doing. I believe that if we open the door to each individual student doing something of this nature, we're going to create probably something more than we ever had with our merit board. Because the merit board, we used to go ahead and organizations came or groups came. But when we start doing individuals, that may be opening an issue that we as a commission need to explore. Because and again, I commend your students. I love when I see the kids doing things. I just don't know if we as a commission, and I'm speaking for myself, can go and sponsor individual students, because then we will open the box up to have a lot of students come in. Where when we did the merit board, a school could come forward for the $500. An organization could come forward for the $500, but having a student come by kind of makes that very broad for us. And I personally, I think if folks want to do it individually and asking folks here for folks to know that you are running, you're going to be going and representing the community in your school is wonderful, but I just think we're opening up a box that we don't know if we can control as a commission. Have you gone to other cities and asked them for any funds?
We have not. We've done individuals, some nonprofits that are going to be giving, and fencing is one of those difficult things that it's not a team, you're fencing on your own. So that's always a problem when you go to any kind of an organization, because they want a team to come together, but in fencing, it's kind of, it's separate from schools, you don't have the benefit or the support from a school. It's completely self-funded.
I'm just
Have you been to the paper yet and haven't put this in there with her?
Yes, they actually did a story on her, the West Orange Observer did a story on her.
They did a story
I
on
mean,
West
she's
Orange
one,
Times.
this is all her different,
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing with all the different things, and it's the same, yeah, I would say,
Can I ask you a
tend to
question?
agree. Okay. Go ahead, sir.
If, we'll probably put it up on our TV, maybe your address and maybe a phone number or something to get in touch with you so that
no, you can't do
we
that.
individually donate? You can't do that?
I don't know if
She
I
does
want
have a
But
web
can we,
page.
can you give it to me? I would like to donate personally to this. So if you
Absolutely.
can give me the information that I would need to donate some money, I'll do that on a personal basis. However, I must agree with Commissioner Wilson is that there's an awful lot of kids in the high school, and we support them as much as we can. We try to keep it to the nonprofit or something like that. But I personally would like to donate. So either,
Thank you.
if this is good up top here, I get in touch with you?
Yes, that is her email address.
Okay.
And you could email her there, and she can send a link to you. That will take you to her specialized page on the games.
Okay.
I would do that also, so I'll do that separate from the board.
Yeah, I have to agree with Commissioner Wilson in regards to this because, as you all know, my Achilles heel is youth programs and supporting our youth in the community. So again, I do agree with her. That would be kind of opening Pandora's box when we do individual students coming up. But again, I'll support it. I will make a donation myself personally, and I will go further to solicit from any contacts I may have to solicit funds to help in her plight to get to Hungary.
Yeah.
I saw a hand
It's a
back there.
tough situation. I know, not knocking Winter Garden, but Winter Garden won't give any money out except for,
Right.
it won't.
There's a couple of hands in the audience that have.
Yeah, I
questions.
see it.
Just one question, how much are you trying to raise to get to that?
The total cost for her trip is $5,770. We've raised, like
So
I
they
said,
do.
$1,170.
She need about 5,000 more.
A lot,
Roughly.
yeah. Yes.
All right,
Have
so
you
we'll-
tried a GoFundMe page?
We do have what's called the Maccabee Games. They have a website, and Maya has her own fundraising page on it, and it lists, she wrote her own story up and, and how she's going through the games. It's her first international competition. So it gives information about her personally, her accomplishments, and then there's a space where you can click and make a donation.
Okay, I would think there are some philanthropic groups out there that would be willing to help you, but I agree with the rest of the commission.
Absolutely.
Individuals will raise a problem for us.
But we'll work on trying to help you, Rayson. Yeah.
Do you have a Cash App or a PayPal account that we can, that I can use? I use Cash App, PayPal, so if I can get that information before you leave tonight, I'll go ahead and make a donation before you leave.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I will not, sometime in the next few days, I'll get it to you also, but can we do it off this?
Yes, if you send her an email.
Okay,
then she
all
can
right.
forward it to me,
Okay.
or she'll answer.
Yeah, I'd rather
with
not
her
put the
link.
phone number and all that up on the thing, but I'll do that too. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And that,
We're not
congratulations,
leaving,
you're
really.
real talented, I can tell you, but looking at this, whew.
Yeah, quite a
Plus you're an
class.
honor student, straight A's, and that's pretty good also, so.
Yes, and she actually is late for fencing now, so we're leaving just so she can go to fencing. So
Oh.
I'm not being rude, but she's
Good luck.
She's
We'll
she
try to
fences
help.
every night. So.
Anybody that wants to help,
Thank
please
you
get a
so
hold of
much.
us. Thank you. here. All right. Is that all this public? Anybody else in the public? Come on down. You got to fill out a form when you get through. Is it anything on the agenda, or is it just strict? Come on down.
I'm Scott Kennedy. I live at 3430 Jamber Drive in Forest Brook. I'm also the president of the HOA. And I've lived in Ocoee for 15 years. One of the things I really appreciated, recognized when I first moved out here, was how excellent the police response and the professionalism of the officers was very impressed. The last 3 years or so, I've had a lot of people, and I want to stay away from conjecture, but I've had a lot of comments from my neighbors and from residents in our community that they call the police, they have essentially petty crimes, etc., and the police come out and they do nothing, I'm told. Or they say, that's not our problem, speak to the president of your HOA. I'm not deputized to do anything other than take care of lawn maintenance and assessments. And recently we had a little test case with a lifelong friend of mine that I went to high school with, and spoke to the police 3 or 4 times, promised certain follow-up, etc., and kind of dropped the ball. So I'm starting to believe some of the comments that I'm hearing. On the social media, there's a lot of comments. There's people who post the statistics. We're told all the time, you know, we live in a very safe neighborhood and there's no real crime. But the perception of the residents is that there's a lot of crime and it's not being addressed effectively. So I think where I want to leave my comment is seeking the wisdom of the commission. There seems to be a disconnect between maybe perception and reality, or maybe not. I did a little bit of research. I know there's like an advisory board for the police. I looked on the website. It looked like, I don't know whether it's accurate or not, it looked like they didn't have minutes posted since May of 2018. I don't know if that's active. I don't know if there's a community group that is working with the police to respond to this perception. I've heard, and there's a lot of things on social media that say, and understandably, you know, we all love the police, but that they're struggling with recruiting and retention and resources and things of that nature. So I don't really have a solution. But I wanted to raise the issue and again seek your wisdom and advice and let you know what I'm hearing and the position I'm being put in, and see what you suggest.
I know John wants to comment on it, but what I'd like to do is have the police, is Chief Brown still back there?
Chief and Deputy Chief.
What I would like to do is, or see, Charlie, if you get with Scott and see if we can have a meeting where you guys can meet with him, and maybe we can all go to the homeowner association. Mr. Grogan, that's your area, and I know John deals with Scott too. So I think if we could get together and y'all set up a meeting, let's see if we can do that.
Yeah, Scott, can you set up a meeting throughout the homeowners association for one
Absolutely.
night soon?
Yeah, absolutely.
Specifically just for questions and answers to address this issue?
Yes, it'd be great.
Okay. And make sure you get in touch with us and we'll be there.
Sure.
Anybody stole your new trophy, have they?
No.
One-day trophy.
What? Yes.
He won the golf
It was a good
championship
day.
out at the golf course.
It was the best day.
It was a rain out.
Thank you. Okay, I'm a mother. Thank you.
So you gonna give me your,
Yes, absolutely.
John,
You have it.
make sure you get,
Yeah, Scott, he's gonna get in touch with us when he.
is that okay, Scott?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate it. Congratulations on the other two.
Thank you.
My name's already up there. Yeah, thank you. All right. That, I think, was that. All right, now we can get to the staff report.
Nothing at this time.
All right. Commissioners' announcements. Commissioner Oliver.
No, I'll defer. Defer.
Okay. Commissioner First.
We're in the midst of a government shutdown, federal government shutdown, as you all know. And we may or may not have a lot of federal employees in town that are on furlough. That being said, I'd like the city manager's office to look into the different facts to see how many people may be affected by this government shutdown. I know they're having a difficult time, and I'd like to ease their situation rather than compound it. So what I'd like you to do is to see if there are any federal employees that are currently on furlough, and they can prove that fact, and that possibly we can defer their utility bills until they get back on their feet. And I'm not asking to wipe the bills out or, tell them that they don't have to pay for it. But if we could tell them that we're not going to charge them late fees or any penalties for missing their payments, and work with them to allow them to get back on their feet and pay these bills when they go back to work and they have the ability to do so. So I'm really asking for a consensus of the commission to instruct the city manager to look into this fact and see if it is doable. There may be thousands of them out there, or there may be one or two. We don't know that, and we don't know how that would affect our operations and all.
I agree.
I think it's a good idea. Yeah.
I think it's good to take into, yeah.
Okay. All right, I think you got a consensus to look into it.
You'll do that for us and bring us back some?
Bring something back.
Okay, thank you.
That's one of the next meeting, right?
Commissioner Wilson.
Wait a minute, I just got a question. You'll bring some back before the next meeting, right?
We'll have a recommendation for the next meeting. I will caution you that, determining how many furloughed federal employees there are living in our city might take a little bit of time. So the next meeting is February 5th. We will definitely be prepared to discuss some options at the next meeting. I don't know that we'll be completely finished with all the necessary research, and I wouldn't want to belabor that on the city manager who is out of town this evening. So I would commit to, between the next two meetings, we will have a firm recommendation for you and the research done.
Well, maybe they can call in. They might be able to do that when they call the water department asking for an extension or something, that they can find out, because these folks can prove that they're on furlough. That's not hard for them to do.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
All right. Commissioner Wilson.
I have some things at the end, but right now I just want to bring everyone's attention that March the 9th, the Spring Fling will be happening. That's an event that we have had, I think we're in our 12th or 13th year. Sorry, it's been a long time. But it's a fun day. It's a free event sponsored by the city of Ocoee in conjunction with our fire department, police department, our utilities department, and will be a showcase of city programs will be there, along with fun activities and events that can, programs that can go ahead and set a table up and let the folks know in the community what they do and what programs they have to offer our residents. We've always had programs such as the library. We had to bring the rain barrels in, yes. If you're a city resident, there's plants that you can get once you prove you're a city resident, rain barrel workshop, but there's also a lot of fun activities, door prizes. It's a great learning event. The whole purpose is education. So please mark your calendar for March 9th. We're working on this. If you know any programs that have an interest in setting up a table, they can't collect any funds unless it's only by donation. But again, we try to market this as a free event so that anyone can come and have fun and enjoy it and learn. So the whole premise is that you learn something. So March the 9th, put it on your calendar. It's from 10 to 3. It's going to be right here in Bill Breeze Park, right behind City Hall. And I'll have more information each commission meeting. Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Grogan.
Yes. I was going to wait till the end, but I figured there'd be nobody left because this might be a long meeting. So I'll get it out now. There's been an awful lot of talk on social media about the city and the recycling program. And Steve, could you please help me with that and briefly discuss the facts about the recycling? I really wish that people in social media could just call the city. Instead of asking their friends who has a friend and another, it got way out of control, and they said it wasn't being done. People saying, the city workers are saying it's not being done. We do have a program here, but we probably have some issues with the residents that we're gonna have to clear up, but Steve will explain to us.
Commissioner, thank you. We currently have a contract with Waste Management to take our recyclables. The downside is everyone thinks Ocoee, you're just the small city of 40,000. Well, we're affected by what happens in China. The recycling industry, the market has been in China. That's where all our recycling was going. And China has put a restriction on the recycling they're taking. And they want an almost pure recycling of less than 0.5% of contamination. Right now, the materials we're collecting is about a 50% contamination rate. The county has gone and done some studies where they spent 8 weeks in a particular neighborhood of about 600 homes, and they got it down to, by weekly proactive going, looking in people's carts, marking the carts. They had a tag that would go on like, you did great, you need to do better, or oh my God, you failed. And they use it as a good public service thing to teach people. They got it down, if you look at the numbers, about 39% contamination. Still not good enough for what we can contaminate. What happens is Waste Management won't accept it.
Could
So
you explain the contamination part of it?
contamination it's as simple as plastic bags. Plastic bags are the biggest contaminating factor. A lot of people don't pay attention on, they'll put anything that looks plastic. We've had people put wood in there because they say wood's recyclable. Yeah, but not what we collect. The carts do say what's recyclable on them. We have flyers. It's on our website. There's all the information. It's just getting the mindset. It used to be okay to have all that because the recycling industry would take it. The economy's totally changed, and they're not touching it. So the biggest issue right now are plastic bags because everything's automated. When they take the recycling and separate it, and the plastic bags, right now, every system is shutting down every hour to pull all the plastic bags that come up the works. So it's not a lot of people just standing there pulling stuff out. All this is mechanical separation.
Right,
Some
so
pretty impressive things.
correct me if I'm wrong, when they come and pick up, they have cameras on top of the trucks and they watch what's going in it. So when they see stuff coming out of the recycling bin that's not supposed to be there, that just contaminated that whole truck. The whole truck has to go to the dump. None of it can be separated, and you just ruin the whole thing. So it's the people, it's our residents, ourselves, that are contaminating our own recycling of what can be taken. So please keep in mind what you're putting in those blue barrels. It's not a trash barrel. If you need another trash barrel, call the Public Works Department and voice to them that you may need another green one and not put your trash in a blue one, because the guys that drive around don't know. And they don't know until it's too late when they're dumping it in their trucks. So we got to keep it as clean as possible with the recyclables that we can recycle, and then we can get more to the recycling. And correct me if I'm wrong, this does not, we do not make a profit on this. This actually costs the city money to recycle. It doesn't pay for itself. There's really not enough money there that pays for recycling. So it does cost the city to recycle, so let's try to do the best we can.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes, sir, Mr. Manaki.
Plastic bags are no-no?
No. I think it's somewhere right before Christmas, I started answering emails, and Steve's been answering them and trying to explain to people what the process was. But I had a friend of mine tell me the other day, we run into her at a restaurant, and she was said, "Oh yeah, man, I do it all. I put them in a black garbage bag, put them all inside, and put them in the can." I went, "No, you can't do that." So you got to be able to see what it is before they can get rid of it. So, and what was it, Steve? The first, they used to pay us to do recycling. They used to pay us to take the recycling.
They didn't pay us, but we didn't have to pay to dump. It used to be a zero tipping fee. Now the fee is more than what it does to go to the landfill, but, you know, it costs to be green. And
Right.
if we're willing to do that, that's great, but it's tough. It requires a lot of work.
Hi, I'm Glenn Hasbrook. I live on 410 East Orlando Avenue, part of the Sleepy Harbor condominium. And everything, all the trash that we have goes in a dumpster over there. And there are some people there just ignorant about what happens to recyclables. They think that if they put something that's going to be recycled in there, it's going to get recycled. So what I do for myself and some friends is I take it over to the Porter transfer station where there is a recycling roll-off over there where we can put recyclables in. And that is a battle. I keep a 5-iron in the back of my car so I can take the styrofoam out of the roll-off dumpster and the plastic bags out of the roll-off dumpsters to try to keep that roll-off at least pure. So my question is, what percentage of what we collect, either by truck or at the Porter transfer station, actually gets recycled? Does any of it get recycled, or does it all go?
Right now, what we're picking up, this year, we have not had a load that has been able to go to recycling. And we don't take our recycling to Porter. Our recycling goes up to McCormick Road, where there's a separate transfer station. We haven't had a clean load this year to be able to go there. It's just that bad. Because the contamination rate is up around 50% right now. That's tough to get down to 0.5%. And it's almost because there isn't a market for it. It's almost an arbitrary, like it's been laid on us, like here's what you got to meet if you want to get it. How do we do that? Because there's no money in it for them. That's why we're paying them to recycle.
So the bottom line is all the plastic, it now goes to the landfill.
That we're collecting this year, yeah, has. Because there's not a market for plastic. In fact, the city of Deltona has stopped last year recycling because of the cost. And there's some other cities in Central Florida and North Florida that have gone to where they're only taking paper products. They won't collect anything else. There's various things like that that we've been working with. And we've been talking with other cities constantly. We were talking with Apopka this morning. They're trying to figure out, they're in the same shape we are. The last couple loads they've taken up there, they've had to pick them right back up. And that's not that easy. As you know, we have sidearms. When we dump them, that means we have to send another truck and a front end loader up there, because when you have all that compacted materials in a garbage truck, it's usually 2 or 3 dump trucks to pick up. So it's a tough sell right now.
I mean, there's millions of dollars have been invested in recycling trucks and recycling containers that allow people to put their plastic bottles and their wash cans and clean that peanut butter out of that jar and stuff into these. And then the trucks come along and pick them up, these $1 million trucks that come along and grab those things and dump it in the back. And so where are we? I mean, we're back to get rid of all those sophisticated trucks. We'll just take everything, put it in the back of a big old pickup truck and take it to the landfill.
Well, what would you, what would you suggest?
I'm just talking.
I know. I would tell you that I get chewed out all the time by my wife. Don't put that in. So I don't put it in. I don't put anything in that thing. I let her do it. But I'm serious. I don't touch it. Nope. And
If we're gonna get serious
but
about-
how do you stop it? I've been trying to tell people, people don't care.
It's not the city.
And
it's the-
what's gonna
it's the
happen, the
resident.
rates, we haven't raised our garbage rates in how long, Steve?
Since 2008, 10 years.
10 years. But what happened now, that what's gonna happen, that dump fee's going up.
Right.
Because we're gonna have to dump it. And people, we can't go to 16,000, 17,000 houses and get out of the truck and walk up and inspect that bin every day. It takes people to do it.
Yeah.
Like I said, I will tell you, my wife is a recycle guard. I mean, I don't know we're gonna have to figure out. We're gonna have to do a workshop and see if we can come up with some kind of answer. But it ain't an easy. It's not an easy solved problem.
At one point, I know one of my neighborhoods, they went around and checked the garbage cans, and I got more calls because people were complaining, why were they looking in my garbage can? Why look at my recycling
Yeah.
bin? And I mean, because you were doing something wrong.
As many as we can, keep doing it, but the problem is when they come by and pick mine up, it's clean. The guy that, my next door neighbor, I watched them redoing a house across the street. They put all the construction
Yeah.
stuff inside the
My
recycling.
my neighbor
I went
does the
over and
same
told
thing.
them, I said, you can't do that. They looked at me like, go ahead and get out of here. But, so,
We need recycling police, I guess, I don't
yeah.
know. I
Well, you
don't
know,
what the
they
answer
do
is.
have that. Some places do have that,
Yeah.
but there goes your taxes.
Well, I just
Ooh.
wanted to, people
Yes,
are
sir.
feeling good
Yeah.
about recycling.
Oh,
Like your wife is
Yeah.
feeling good about
Oh.
taking that stuff and
Ooh.
putting it into this blue tub over here, but she doesn't realize that no matter how meticulous she is, it's gonna
No,
wind up in the
I am-
landfill.
She goes in and out that door constantly with that stuff for that recycling.
I'm proud of her too.
Yeah, I'll tell her.
I didn't mean to stop.
All right,
Thank
well, maybe we have to set up see if we can figure out some kind of workshop for citizens and see if it's a good thing that everybody can try to work together. All right.
May I ask him this question as well?
Sure.
Just, if we wanted to go up to this location on McCormick Road ourselves with our own recycling?
You wouldn't be able to get in there, but I wasn't aware of Porter Transfer Station at Good Homes and White Road is accepting that. I'll have to verify that. If they have you said there's a recycled dumpster now up at Porter?
At the Porter Transfer Station, they take glass, plastic, paper, cardboard, there's a large dumpster that goes in there, and then it goes to the landfill.
Well, I'm not sure, I didn't know they were even accepting recyclables there. It's a gated system up at McCormick and the public aren't, and I couldn't just walk in there myself.
All righty.
But Porter could be an option. We do have use of Orange County's Porter landfill, or Porter Transfer Station, which hopefully doesn't go out to landfill. I'll have to talk on that, check on that.
Okay. Well, maybe if there isn't an option as a group, maybe individuals can be offered an option just to do it themselves, because I feel
We've looked at that too.
a strong need to.
Well, that is a way to see if we can get a group of citizens together to
Yeah,
live
maybe we
there.
can do it here.
Neighborhoods that will do that, and we'll take their, maybe do it, take it up there.
Go to the.
That means I'll be going.
You'll be going.
That means my wife will be sending me. Yeah, that's
Thank
okay.
you.
All right.
We all take a suggestion on that topic?
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I just need you to come up here to the microphone. We're not, I apologize.
I realize y'all spent quite a bit of time on that subject, but just an obvious observation in regards to the recycling issue with, it kind of lies in the public's hands with not taking responsibility for it. And one obvious thing to me is just public education. But along with that, if you let the public know that it's going to cost them if they continue down the same path, then sometimes your wallet helps you make a good decision. So just maybe some sort of public education. And I realize it's already out there because I very well know most of the items that you don't want to throw into the can as a citizen, but I think most people ignore that. So maybe something to do with education in the regards to this is going to raise the cost of trash if we don't change our habits.
Well, I can tell you personally, and I'll tell you that what I have has happened at my house, but it has changed from having a garbage loaded up to when I had the recycling. There's more, my recycling bin weighs 10 times what my garbage bag weighs.
Right.
So it's going to end up having to cost somebody, and I have sent emails back to people trying to explain to them what's going to happen, but they just think we don't pay for that. But it does get paid for, and it costs us when they don't do what they're supposed to. But you're right. I know that Steve have sent out, we give them the papers that say what we do with recycling, how we handle recycling. But we can maybe redo it and try to send it again, being this conflict's coming up, Steve.
Well, it struck a nerve with me when I heard that it's going to cost, that, you know, that system, if it gets broken, it's going to cost, if it continues down the path, if you can't take any of those loads, to be recycled, and they're going to a landfill and it's costing. I think that it'd be good for the public to know that. It may help in that regard.
All right.
I appreciate it. Just to sum it up, recycling now does cost. There's no, it's,
You don't,
Right,
you don't.
it already
it costs to get green, but it is education. Our best education has been in the schools through scouts, organizations like that, making sure parents, because most people, when they request a card or something, I ask, what made you want to do this all of a sudden? Well, my child came home from middle school, all gung-ho on recycling, so they got to recycle. That's where we've had some of the best education.
All right, I'm gonna try to give you, are you
Clay.
done? Are you done? You finished?
I just had one.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
done, but as a scout leader,
Impress it upon them, will you?
I will,
All right.
and we'll make that part
All
of
right.
our agenda. So
Thank you.
thanks for all you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, sir, one more minute.
I'm a New Yorker. I mean, I'm a Florida resident now, but I'm also live in New York. And just one of the things that we do in New York is that we made a commitment many decades ago that recycling was going to get done. And everybody knows the cost of living in New York is high. And what we have in New York is you take your plastic, of course there's a deposit on all the plastic bottles and the aluminum cans in New York, 5 cents. So you take it back to the grocery store and there's a machine there. And the plastic bottles go into a machine. It spits out a receipt that says, Mr. Hasbrook, you got 75 cents worth of plastic bottles. You take it into the store and you get your money back. The recyclables are clean. All the plastic is here. All the aluminum is here. And I mean, that's just what they do in New York. And other states have the answer. So I think it's far above what we can clear up and solve here tonight, but I think it's a national problem, and we can only address it from the state of Florida.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something, don't get mad at this. I think all those New Yorkers have moved down here, they got tired of doing that up there.
Hey, how do you think we?
No, just kidding. Just kidding.
How do you think we got our spending money as a kid? It was
Huh?
plastic bottles.
No, listen, I agree with you. It's amazing how much stuff you can save by putting it in that thing. All right, thank you. All right. You through, John?
I'm done.
Woo. All right, now we're down to my announcements, okay? I'm gonna do some of them now, and I'm gonna do some of them at the end, because there's a bunch. All right, each year citizens are asked to appoint a representative into the Metro Plan Arletta Municipal Advisory Committee, MAC, that's you. Commissioner First is currently designated to represent the city on this committee. And if you would like to continue, we just need a motion for his reappointment. Do you want to continue?
Yes.
Oh, I'd like to reappoint, I'd like to
make a
make a
motion.
Motion made by Commissioner Grogan, second by Commissioner Wilson. Anybody, any questions? If not, let's vote. Commissioner First is reappointed.
That's a morning thing, you can have that, right?
The MLK Parade is Monday, January the 21st, from 10 a.m. to 12, starting at Citrus Elementary School and ending at West Oaks Mall. The MLK Day celebration will be held after the parade at 11 a.m. in the food court area inside the West Oaks Mall, and the keynote speaker is our Commissioner Oliver. All right, State of the City. Citizens are invited to attend the City of Ocoee's State of the City report on Tuesday, February the 5th at 5:45 p.m. here in City Hall. A video will highlight the city's accomplishments of the last year and what's planned for 2019. And we've already talked about the spring winter jazz concert. The University of South Florida Jazzette is Saturday, February 2nd at 7 p.m. at Ocoee High School. Tickets are $5 for students and $10 for adults. All proceeds are donated to the Ocoee High School band program. All right, also on January, let's see, Florida election laws, Chapter 100, Section 100-021, and Ocoee Code of Ordinances, Section 5 through 13. Notice is hereby given by the City of Ocoee, and it's been on our line. Florida, the election will be held Tuesday, March the 12th, 2019, in the City of Ocoee for the purpose of selecting the mayor, 2 city commissioners for 4-year terms, 1 commissioner from District 1, 1 commissioner from District 3, and these candidates for these offices must qualify by filing qualifying papers and fees with the city clerk during regular office hours, 8 o'clock to 5, beginning at noon on January 17th and ending at noon January 25th at the Ocoee City Hall, 150 North Lakeshore Drive. The fee for qualifying for office of mayor is $145. I need to borrow that, John. And for commissioner is $90. All right. Now, consent agenda.
I would like to move 10, 12, and 15 for discussion.
10, what now?
Numbers 10, number 12, and number 15 for discussion. So I would make the motion to approve all but.
Wait a minute, now, you
Everybody
said
ready?
15 too?
15, just for discussion. 10, 12, and 15, yes.
Second.
I tell you what, we're gonna take about before we start on that, we're gonna take about a 5-minute break. 5 minutes. 5 minutes now. 7:41, back. I got it. All right, we're gonna start back. Commissioner Wilson will be in just a second. We got quorum going here. So we got to start off on our items. Anybody know where Commissioner Wilson went? All right, we're going to start on the item 10 because she'll be back. So I've got 1, 2, 3. All right, I need a motion to approve the other part. Everything except 10, 12, and 15.
I'll make that motion to approve the consent agenda minus 10, 12, and 15.
All right, motion made for
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Grogan.
Before we vote on that motion, I would also like to make another motion that we discuss 15 first, because I will also want to make a motion that it goes back onto the consent agenda after discussion.
We don't have to move it back, we can vote on it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we don't have to take it back, we can
Okay.
vote on it.
All right.
Yeah, we'll vote on it. Is that all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, no, we'll make sure, no. No.
Okay.
I don't know.
No,
Like I
it's,
said,
oh,
we did-
it's.
All right, so motion made, first and second. I need any more discussion on, let's do the rest of the consent agenda. Let's vote. Yeah, we won't forget it. All right, now number 10. All right, I've got 3 names here for number 10. Glenn Rocher?
Has-
All right. You again, okay, all right. Then I have Michael, well, I'm having a hard time reading tonight. Morito. I know I'm having a bad time reading. And then Bill Dassler.
No, Dassler, yes.
All right, I will ask you, is there anybody else? Did I miss anybody?
Linda, are
If
you?
you please, we're gonna talk about the same thing. If we can cut it as close as we can, we don't, not that we don't want you to talk, but everybody's talking on the same thing, so, all right.
Mayor, could I just give a brief overview on what it is, and that might alleviate some of the
All right.
questions they have?
And when you get through, then we'll start with Glenn.
Okay, I'll be
All right.
brief.
Yeah.
We monitor the lakes in the city of Ocoee through various programs. And Lake Prima Vista was, a lot of the neighbors had called us and said it doesn't look good. And we also checked the water level, the water quality, and it was showing that it was bordering on impairment. We file a permit every year, the National Pollutant Elimination Discharge, I think I got all that backwards, but anyways, NPDES. That basically is a report to the state and the federal government on how clean our lakes are, what we're doing to treat them. And when things like a water body starts going downhill for water quality, DEP starts watching this, and they have a level. If it gets so unhealthy, it becomes an impaired water body. We don't have any impaired water bodies in the city, but Lake Prima Vista is pushing towards that. DEP is saying we want to declare it, but in working with our consultant on figuring out, all right, what's going on with the lake, how can we keep that from happening? They had said, all right, we're not going to call it impaired as long as you're working on it, on a program to fix it. we've studied the lake. Some of the lake, historically, it's a small lake, it's a little basin, drains out into Stark Lake, but it doesn't get a good flush. There's not a lot of water. It's not a big basin going to it. And looking at the historical data, it's just barely been a clean lake. It's just been on the verge. And there's been a lot of nutrient loading into the lake in the past few years, which has caused a lot of algae growth and things like that. And it needs some cleanup. It's not a simple process. We don't want to just go in there and dredge everything out. We also don't want to go in and go around all the neighborhoods and make a bunch of improvements that don't address the real problem. So we've found that we've analyzed the nutrient loading, found some various sources on what we could do. The goal is to contract with Woods, who has done the initial review, and they have expertise in this field, and come up with a game plan to treat the lake to keep it from being impaired or becoming impaired. Because our goal is, it also drains the impaired water that would come from Prima Vista, that goes out into Stark and into the drain wells. We don't want that to happen, and neither does DEP. And right now, they're working with us. As long as we keep a proactive program going and solve our problems, we shouldn't have a problem in the long term. Plus, with where we're at right now, there's generally, if you have an impaired water body, you can qualify for grants and stormwater, things like that. We sure can't right now because we haven't had any impaired water bodies. But in the program we're under right now, the 4E program, which is an environmental assessment type thing, we can possibly qualify and not have to use stormwater money, but actually get grant money to make the improvements. But with that said, I just want to make sure everybody understood what the basis of this is.
Right. If it's okay, Mayor, I'm going to say something at this point. I did send out an email to some of the residents around that area, and I know it's been passed out. I sent this item out to them along with just a basic synopsis. You have it in front of you, the commission, along with some responses. And Steve, one of the responses that it's this one. One of the responses that there was a concern whether any of the neighbors would be cited for anything drainage into the lake because of this. Let's say it was driveways, it was
No, that's not the intention of this. That no, everything that's out there right now has been approved under a system when it was built. We can't go back and say, hey, because we wouldn't approve that now, we're going to fine you, or you got to upgrade. That's not the case. The idea is to come up with a program that will treat the lake without penalizing people.
Okay. I'll have some questions after too. I don't know. I know Glenn has some questions, and I think some others do. So.
Okay.
Sorry.
I couldn't hear what you said.
There was a concern. One of the comments here was that a group that was not in favor of it. And when I spoke to them, and I think that this person will speak for themselves when they come up, but one concern was, will there be any penalizing, any issues that have occurred in the past against the neighbor, a resident, let's just say, who's there? And as Steve is saying, that any drainage that was done was approved.
Yes.
Driveways or whatever drainage was done was approved when it was put in. So we're not going to penalize the residents or the neighbors for that problem.
Correct.
Okay, that's one of the concerns.
All right.
Thank you.
Get time, got 3 minutes. Giddy up.
I'm Glenn Hasbrook again from Lake. I live on that lake, and it's a beautiful lake, and I love living on that lake. And I just want to make sure we know that the water quality in many of Florida's water bodies is problematic now, and I just want to make sure that even though it is costly to investigate what's wrong with the water systems, that, in my opinion, I think that needs to take place. We need to establish the data and find out what the problem is. If it's new businesses that have gone in, I think Prima Vista is a unique situation. It's got a neighborhood on one side, a condominium on the other side, and a blueberry field on the other. Plus, it gets a lot of drainage from the road that goes by. And I'd like to see some work done to try to keep the nutrients from going into the lake. And because we know a lot of the problems with lakes comes from grass being mowed, blown in the road, it rains, the grass washes down into the lake, the nutrients get into the lake, and then you got more phosphorus and items like nitrogen then you can pull out. So I'm voting in favor of investigating the lakes.
Awesome.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, next is Michael.
No, Des.
Who?
Bill Des.
Yep, it's all right, go ahead.
That's okay.
We'll let him speak.
My name is Bill Dassler. I'm the president of Sleepy Harbor Condominium Association. Our concerns are basically that with this study is that we don't want to be put in a position, and I think our commissioner, Ms. Wilson, has clarified some of that, of having a study that ends up costing the condominium association, and this is 55 stakeholders living on the lake, a huge assessment to do some kind of remediation to Lake Prima Vista. So we are very concerned over what the study is going to do and what the results are. Personally, we have not been involved at all, as to my knowledge, as an association and as a major stakeholder in any of the discussions regarding the scope of work of the contract, what the contract is looking at, and I'm not aware that we're even considered and recognized as being a stakeholder in this whole process. So my only comment is that, number one, I would like assurances that Public Works will definitely consider the Sleepy Harbor Condominium Association as a stakeholder, since we occupy almost the entire west side of the lake, and that they also obviously include Sleepy Harbor HOA and the Tom West Blueberry Farm. We're the basic three stakeholders. And so when we talk about having meetings with the contractor and discussing the contractor's plan, we want to be included in those discussions. And if we have assurances from Public Works and the commissioner that that'll be the case, then we don't have any real problems with doing this study. That's my comment. Thank you.
We could,
The whole city is,
if, I mean, you guys are stakeholders, and because you do, so you know that we do consider you a stakeholder, but if you would like, we can set up a meeting with our consultant and our stormwater engineer, and they could give you more detail and let you know where we've come from, what we've discovered, and what we're planning, how we want to treat it.
In that case, I'd like to invite you and your contractor to our annual owners meeting, which is scheduled for February 9th at 10 o'clock in the morning at our clubhouse at the condominiums.
I will see if everybody can, it shouldn't be a problem.
We would certainly invite the contractor or you to come in and make a presentation and tell us what you want to do, what your plans are, and what your objectives are. And one quick comment on your scope of work. I noticed that it has no reference there to any kind of analysis of the effects of the load of algae on the flora and fauna surrounding the lake. It's purely dealing with stormwater runoff. And I'd like to say, and I think a lot of people realize, the fishing is excellent on that lake. The bird population is fantastic. I mean, we've got herons, egrets, pelicans, eagles, ospreys, all fishing in the lake. And we've got, if any of you are fishermen, if you haven't caught a bass or gone crappie fishing in that lake, then you ought to try it out. So I'm really kind of wondering what the impact is of all this algae in the lake. I've lived there for 20-something years, and the algae level has been the same. So I would love to see your data that shows a baseline and how the deterioration has increased. Because nothing has really changed in that area since it was developed in 1974. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
I will tell you that I fished there in the 50s. My grandmother used to carry me there, and my aunt, she lived up the street, and they'd carry me there fishing all the time, right up beside where the condos and around to the thing when the groves were all there back in the days. Yeah, I've caught a few fish in there.
You remember when it was Deep Lake?
Yes, sir. That's what I still call it, Deep Lake.
Not Lake Prima Vista?
Yeah. No, I still call it Deep Lake. We got Fish Lake. They named that Lake something else. Lake Olympia, I think it was. Yeah.
I'm sure the old timers remember
Oh, yeah.
fishing, grabbing a beer and a cigarette out when it was before.
My grandmother would let me have a beer back then. But I had a good time in there. Thank you. That's a beautiful place there. All right, Bill.
That was Bill. That was Bill.
That's Bill. I'm sorry. Yeah, Michael. Oh, there he is. He's over there.
Good evening. My name is Michael Smarito. I reside at Sleepy Harbor subdivision on Lakeshore Drive, and I'm the Vice President of the Homeowners Association.
Sleepy Harbor.
Before I came in here, I reread this agenda and scope of work, and one thing that I overlooked prior to coming tonight is it says the city contracted with Amick Foster Wheeler to determine the source of the impairment in order to be able to develop a nutrient reduction plan.
Correct.
So you have a list of sources for the high levels?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have that, would you be able to share that tonight at all?
I don't have that on me. I don't
Okay.
carry it's a pretty thick report.
Okay.
But a lot of it is agriculturally based.
Okay.
And that's what we're looking to address.
Okay, because that's kind of what I did before I came here. The past 2 days, went onto the Lake Watch website and found out from the gentleman who runs that program that the city has been providing samples to Lake Watch for the past 26 years.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did is anybody can download this from Lake Watch. I've got 3 bodies of water. I got Stark Lake, Lake Prima Vista, and Lake Apopka, actually. The reason why I printed out Lake Apopka is to compare the data against what we have on ours. So basically, this spreadsheet I've downloaded, it gives you all the nutrient loads for each year and throughout the months. I got from 1992 up till 2018. And what I did is I only sorted from 2010 to up to 2018. And what you find out is those nutrient levels from 2010 up to 2018 it's steadily increased. And kind of what you just basically surmised. And these graphs here, they show it. Basically, it tells you the total nitrogen and the total phosphorus and how it's grasped. And that's what I noticed is from 2010, that's why I pulled the data to see where these levels are. Along with those levels, it actually causes a decrease in visibility. And those are called SIT. I found out SETCHI units. So when you pull out the data for Lake Apopka, it's been trending downward as well. Currently, for Lake Apopka, it's below 2 feet. It's currently. Prima Vista, it's also trending below 2 feet visibility. So what that's telling us is Lake Prima Vista is in line with the condition of current Lake Apopka right now. So with the loading being from agriculture, it's not going to be an easy plan to fix, and it's probably going to be pretty costly. So, thank you.
You answer anything there, Steve?
No, I agree. That's kind of
We
what
just
we're
got
looking at.
validation
It's,
on what's been going on. Thank you.
I don't believe we have as much muck as Lake Apopka does.
No, and now on the positive side, Lake Apopka had a lot of outside influences that we don't have here. And we just have such a small body of water, it just reflects changes a lot quicker. So that's why we want to address it now.
All right.
Oh, Ann Whittle.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
I didn't see Ann's. Come in.
I'm Ann Whittle. I live at 715 East Lakeshore Drive. I've lived there for a little over 30 years. I have seen a major difference in the lake. When I first moved there, you could see the bottom. It was sandy. It was beautiful. And all of a sudden, in the last, I would say, maybe 2010 or so, up until now, it is awful. I don't even want to get in it, and not too many people do. My question, when you say agricultural, do you mean agricultural, or do you mean me fertilizing my yard, which I stopped, by the way, as I wish a lot of people would do?
I can't
But,
say
all
that
right, let
it
me
doesn't help. But
rephrase.
the blueberry farm adds
there you
a
go.
lot
That's
of
what I wanna
nutrients.
know.
And they're not doing anything wrong. It just happens to be close proximity to the lake. Everything does matter. We're actually going to be bringing before the commission a fertilizing ordinance, but that's more of a drop in the bucket compared to when you're fertilizing for an agricultural.
When did the Blueberry Farm open?
I couldn't tell you, but
There you go. They are Orange County.
correct.
So that's another problem I feel, and that's when it started going down, is when the Blueberry Farm opened. And we have, unfortunately, we can't say much about it because it's Orange County. But they also advertise that they are organic, which means they should not be using any of that stuff.
Well, they
So
do.
what do we have that we can talk to them?
We
with
are
it being Orange
working with
County?
them on this too. We have met with them and discussed this, so they are on board as a partner, as much as y'all, because you're on one side.
They're not a very good partner.
Well, we're looking to come up with a solution that does allow them to do what they need to do to use their property and not affect our lake. There are things that can take place, and we're working with them on that.
So it is basically the Blueberry Farm.
Part of it. It's a big portion.
Because the same people lived in Sleepy Harbor and the condos and all that stuff, and they're not doing anything differently probably in their yards or anything else that we've ever done. But all of a sudden, we have a problem.
I think you can meet with them and find out what they're using. I don't
We
know why you
have,
wouldn't.
and they do use all organic materials. It's just a lot of nutrient loading, and unfortunately, the best part is we have such sandy soil, everything migrates well in that area, which is wonderful if you have a soil, maybe not so much in this.
Do they have a plan?
We're working with them on some stuff.
You have to build houses.
No, that got, we don't want that.
I mean,
Well-
if you don't have blueberries, you end up having houses.
But I mean, my
know?
plan means, I don't mean that, I just
No.
mean, do they have a plan so that it doesn't
Yeah.
wash down in, because they sit way up here.
Yeah.
And we're down here, it's obviously gonna go down.
I was thinking about it today. Like I said, when I used to go there all the time, that, where you live at, and all the way around that lake was orange groves. And I watched them, they sprayed more open spraying for anything than anybody ever did. So how did the lake not get that way? Because I'm telling you, they had those blowers, and I don't know if you remember them, I do. They had the blowers with the big blowers on the back, and they come through there spraying out all kind of pesticides, malathion, everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know what it is, but we need to see if we can find out what they're doing, what they've got, how maybe they set up retention areas or something to grab it. I just tell you, I go back and think about the days where you live at and around that lake, when it used to be no canal through there, that was all orange groves. And I watched them spray those things. I worked in them. I mean, it was way more fertilizer getting put out and chemicals back then than ever is now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think we need to have him see with Scott or whoever that's running that, find out, and have them show us what they use. And maybe they'll come to that same meeting that you're having at the thing.
All right, thank you.
Mayor, it appears that from what I'm hearing, that everyone is in agreement, even if they initially, I think, Bill, you sent me that you were not, but it appears now, moving forward, in agreement with this project happening. And if that's the case, I would make the motion to approve item 10.
All right.
Is that, do we want that yet, or I'm sorry,
I wanna-
is it?
Well, I just want to make one thing clear.
sorry,
We're
okay.
not charging anybody for that, are we?
No.
No, we're not going to, you mentioned something about the money part. We're not charging anybody, right?
He
The
said that.
project's funded through our stormwater.
Okay, so no,
Let me ask a very specific before we go up here.
yes,
We have, when Sleepy Harbor was built, they built a stormwater outfall that goes into the lake, no doubt about it. And water drains off East Orlando Avenue, it drains off our parking lots, and it goes through a culvert system into the lake. Are you telling me that if you identify that as being a source of nutrient overload into the lake, that you will not take mitigation action and direct us to change that outfall?
I had no intention of doing that.
Okay.
We have done similar things where we've upgraded existing systems over in the Prima Vista subdivision, Spring Lake, outfall on Llewellyn Avenue. We're looking to put some into Stark Lake from just to the south of here. There are devices we can put in. We're working with the state to put one for Lake Olympia.
Okay.
So those aren't, most we'd probably look, say, can we have a spot to put it?
Mr. Mayor, that's our primary concern. is that-
No, I just wanna make
Because
sure.
you realize, in a condominium association, if we get a directive from the city saying you must divert that outfall, we're talking about major construction and big assessments to our owners, so that's our primary concern.
okay, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. All right, so now,
My motion.
motion made by Commissioner Wilson,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Grogan. Any more comments on it? If not, let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. What about 12?
Hey, no, that's the other question I had. When I
Thank
was,
you.
I'm sorry,
Well,
yes,
12.
12, okay. When I was reading number 12, I had some questions because it spoke about right-of-ways. Are there some areas along these properties that we're talking about that we've had right-of-way, where building has happened on the right-of-ways, and they've been there for a long time? And what are the repercussions to places that have something on the right-of-way? And maybe I'm interpreting something that I shouldn't be in here, but,
What item 12 is on Taylor Avenue, Taylor Street, there's never been a legally defined right-of-way. Blueford, we know the limits. When we went out to Taylor, everyone's kind of plotted their property, but never said, this is the road. Where's the edge of the road? Where's the city's right-of-way? Everyone has a good idea, but it's never been written and set in stone. And that's what we're looking to do. We're not looking to take people's property. It's just what's existing out there, do the legal requirements from a survey standpoint, so that we can clarify what the right-of-way is.
and I can't speak, let's just use, I can't speak for, any particular business there or organization. I am in the Lions Club that's on Taylor Street. But, there's a porch, so we don't know if the porch is, you're not, the city is not planning to come back and tell, let's say, a club or an organization or a business that you're in the right-of-way.
Well, we have found on other projects where there are houses built on the right-of-way. That's been established, and that's what, it was easy to determine that, saying legally, here's the right-of-way. We can't tell you that right now out on Taylor, because that has never been done. There could be some instances where that may happen. I'm not aware of it yet.
Well, I'm
but
just looking at
that's-
that strip that, something's been there 50, 60, 70 years, and all of a sudden, part of one of those businesses along there could be on the right-of-way.
And we're not even sure our sidewalk's in where it should be. It may be on
Okay.
private property, that type of thing. So we're trying to define the limits of the right-of-way. It's not the same all the way through. It's going to vary. but I can't answer that at this point.
Okay.
That's why we need to do the work so that we can proceed with the road project.
Okay, that was just a concern, because there's
Okay.
people that have been there. One more thing, there was people, I mean, there's businesses that have been there, and they may
Oh,
be
yeah.
they've been there for many, many years, not just organizations, but businesses. The other one is, mentioned that, as I read further, landscape design. Are we at this point considering taking some of those trees off of Bluford and moving them around?
The
thinning the
Bluford
herd, or-
trees, once we get the power poles down, which is running behind,
you.
then we're gonna relocate trees. The trees that have been installed already, we're gonna relocate those temporarily to a tree farm to make sure they get through a shock before we put them up here so that they have a good survivability and look good at City Hall. And then we'll utilize them later. But the landscaping that was described in that was part of the Bluford Avenue portion of that proposal, which is work they already did when they redesigned in front of City Hall here to include the additional parking that was part of the City Hall campus design, along with the landscape and irrigation revisions that required.
Okay, I mean, because I'm getting, some folks like all those trees and some folks don't, but is this, so are you saying that?
At this point, we're planning on removing 22, about 20.
Out of, how many are there? How many are on that?
That's not in this part of that.
Well, this is
No,
what
it
I
is.
was.
That's
that-
totally separate from
Okay,
this.
what am I reading
Mayor.
in 3.2 about the removal of date palms
That
from
was
Bluford
based
Avenue?
that was based on the scope for Bluford that is going to come back at a later date. It'll be incorporated under a different contract.
So these aren't the palms that we're talking, that are there?
They did a redesign of the ponds that'll go out in front of City Hall here.
Okay.
Those palms are already scheduled to be relocated once we get the power lines down.
That's a big if.
Was
Power
it-
lines.
We understand, Mayor, we're riding.
That's
Oh, the
not
power.
in this part.
Well, this is
No.
what again, 3.2, when you read it, I was a little confused, and I was trying to clarify if we're talking about the palms that are there, that are actually on the street, because I could hear some people yelling about taking
We
them.
do have a plan to take 22 of those down, to separate them out so there's a little better sight distance, a little more sidewalk.
Wait a minute. We got to go back and talk about that again before we do it. That ain't been voted on to change that yet. We talked
Okay.
about it. So that's another
See,
issue.
this is where I'm reading
Because
this.
I don't think you need to take 22 of them out, but we'll have to go back and talk about that before it, because
Would we maybe we'll get with,
Mayor?
we can all sit down with the mayor
Can I
and
speak?
maybe everybody and let you know
Yeah, I'd like to
what we want to
discuss
do.
it.
I wanted to clarify a couple things. That stretch in front of the school is going to have to come back in
Yeah,
front of
that's
you.
what I said.
We did a landscape design for the two end caps at the school when we partnered with the school to take down the unsightly fence and put up a more decorative style fence. And so as part of that, based on some of the discussion that we had heard when the trees first went in, we had gotten prepared to sit down with the city commission at a meeting and have you all decide
Yeah.
how many trees come out and what the pros and
Okay.
cons of doing that are, and bless the landscape plan for the middle school.
before anybody, Steve,
Okay,
that we're going to come back here and discuss it with
Okay.
the commission.
So should that be stricken? at
Yes,
this-
that's what I'm saying.
Should that part be stricken from 3.2, or am I?
no, that's not what you're voting on that. That was part of what was done on Bluford for the redesign up here that'll come back at a later
On
date.
this end?
Yes, on the north
Okay,
end.
all right, thank you. We've got too many companies and too much.
I
Bluford talked
apologize, there was a
about.
couple extra things in there that with the holidays and all and getting with the consultants, I didn't want to let it delay Taylor Avenue and have them just give me a separate proposal just for Taylor. So I had them break it out separately, and I was hoping I could bring it all in as one, but talking with finance and the way we did the purchasing and assigning to the project of Bluford for design, I couldn't do it as a separate item or lump it into this.
Yeah, I'd like to have those trees be a discussion. We don't need to be Channel 9 again
Nope.
with all those trees.
All right.
Okay, so that was my only concern on that one.
Can we make a motion to accept
I'll make a
12
motion
then?
to accept number 12.
Thank you. Here, second?
Second.
Seconded by, motion made by Commissioner Wilson, seconded by Commissioner Grogan to approve number 12. Let's vote. All right, now number 15, Commissioner.
Okay, number 15, when I was reading the resolution, there's something that kind of made a great concern to me. The resolution seemed to be that we were setting up this youth program, and it kind of made me think of our, like our Parks and Rec Board and our, when we had, you know, different police, fire, you have a board. And what kind of shouted out to me was a concern regarding these meetings have to be in the sunshine. You're dealing with youth. I don't know the legal aspects of this, but when you have a group like this and they're youth and everything's supposed to be done in the sunshine, you're putting a lot of responsibility on youth to abide by that issue. It's hard enough for some adults to abide by it, but now you're dealing with children. So is that a concern that we should have in this aspect of a youth program?
We're gonna let the city lawyer explain.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's a concern. We weren't able to find anything in the statute that prohibits youth serving on a board, but just the fact that they would be serving on a board, they would be subject to public records law, sunshine law, and in a sense, subject to the penalties that come with those
Isn't calling it a board a little bit?
violations.
The penalties of
Reach.
being, well, the penalties of
Because
sunshine.
they're not a board, they're not gonna be advising us on anything, they're just,
Well, I think that's the issue. The resolution right now establishes this, this youth council, but it doesn't lay out what they're gonna do. So the idea was we would establish the youth, the Ocoee Youth Council now, and then it would come back to the city commission to determine what exactly they're gonna do. When they're gonna meet, what are they gonna advise on, or is it gonna be workshops, or exactly what the
Right.
scope of that group would be.
okay.
But regardless of what it is, you know, if they're meeting to advise the city, just like any other advisory board of the
Right,
city,
I'm
they're gonna
saying
be
they're not gonna
subject.
be advising the city on, what would they advise the city on?
But let's just say they were, and again, I'm here protecting, I know that this is Mr. Oliver's project, but it's the idea that I'm concerned about youth and the responsibilities that go with this, because there's folks that don't understand in the sunshine. And now you're putting 15-year-old kids in that position, and if they're going on a trip, oh, you can't talk to them but the weather.
Well-
Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, you have little issues that I think are a lot of responsibility put on a kid.
Well, you know, there's,
Let me,
oh, go ahead.
just, because I thought we had it worked out, and I read it up in the office the other day, and I think it's, have you seen this? Did, nobody else got this?
It was,
The resolution for the.
that's what I was reading.
Huh?
It's in the packet.
It's in the agenda.
Okay, so I mean, I thought it
Would
was
be.
worked out where that's all agreed to, because I thought we were agreeing to do it.
Well, I'm just saying is that in retrospect, I'm sorry, Mike.
Well, you're the one, he's gotta
That's-
tell us if it is or it isn't.
That's why I'm bringing it up, because I'm.
Because
concerned.
I've signed this, because I read it. I don't have no, you know, no. I signed that.
Okay, and I realize that, I've kind of read into it, and I'm a little concerned because putting youth in that position, is this board going to act like an
advisory board.
advisory
which
board
we shouldn't.
that you've got, you know, there's been plenty of issues of adults having issues. What about children?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing here. When we start looking at other cities that's doing this, we looked at over a dozen cities throughout the state of Florida that's doing programs similar to this. We took several of those programs and we modeled our resolution according to what's already been done for years. Some have been in service for 10 years, 15 years, and they use the same model that we're trying to use now. So we looked at that, and the resolution does say advisory. Some of the things that they will be doing when we talk about advisory, just simply youth getting together, educating each other as to what's going on in the city as far as the youth is concerned. Their recommendation is simply to come back to the council and say, here's some of the things that's going on in the city, but here's some things we would like to see for our youth. We talked about things like jobs, educational programs, things where they can get, they'll be able to get volunteer hours throughout the city, creating programs like Impact Day, where the youth will come together with city workers to actually go out and do volunteer work throughout the community, come back and actually report that, and then be able to go to the Florida League of Cities and be able to report these programs, what they've been doing in our city, they can actually openly compete for scholarships for doing this type of work within the city. So we just modeled our program according to what's already out there.
I'm not
Well,
against the program.
I don't know how it's done, but I know Commissioner Oliver said, and I showed him, I brought back the paperwork, and I also told him about it, but all over the National League and all around the state, he's right. They've got the youth committees, and the youth committees are involved in the cities and even to the meetings, like at the state league and things like that. So, I mean, there's gotta be a way to do it. It's just, I thought we had that worked out, but
I just want school with their eyes open on that, because I
I mean,
don't want
we're
children to
willing
be
to
in
work,
that
but
position.
how do we do that to make sure that they're not
Well,
liable for something?
it's not like we're gonna turn them loose and say, hey, you're bound by sunshine laws, go do it. There'll be a coordinator that actually will work with the parents and the students when it comes to issues that could be sunshine laws, or that would impede upon sunshine laws, or that may be any improprieties that may seem like there's a violation. But nonetheless, there is correct supervision to be able to talk about that. So a part of the program, when they're brought into the program, there's a workshop that we have. We talk about sunshine laws. We talk about the things that they can and cannot do. We talk about dress codes. We talk about these different things. So they're educated along with their parents as to how this program will work according to some of the programs we're modeling this after.
All right, so I think we've already approved the committee, the youth.
No, we approved it.
But that's what that is. Right. Well,
Is there any issues? I just wanted this to be out there, because I do not want to put our children in a situation that they may not understand, that a lot of adults don't understand. And so that's my concern. And if I can be assured that we're not putting our children in this, saddled with this.
Yeah.
Being a group is one thing,
they're
but
not
as
gonna
long
be
as they're not
voting on it.
saddled with that.
They're not voting on anything. As far as I know, after I have spoken to several mayors and other commissioners that are actually working with these type programs, they have never had an issue with sunshine laws with their programs. And like I say, some of these programs have been in existence from 10, 15, and some 20 years. And they have not had an issue, not one issue, within 20 years.
I see that as part of their educational process in this whole council format. They have to be instructed on what the responsibilities of a public officer is, but they're not going to be elected officials. They don't carry the same responsibility that we do up here.
P and Z does. I mean, there are boards that have to.
Recreation
And we just, and not that I'm just in part of the conversation, we do gotta take in mind, we cannot put them in a position where it's a misdemeanor crime. It is literally a misdemeanor crime when you violate the sunshine laws.
There's no voting to be done.
Yeah, I don't think
I
we're
don't
gonna
even know
put them
if
in a
they don't
position.
get to.
They're not voting, they're not making any motions, they're not seconding any motions, there's no voting at all.
I just want to make sure that we're very clear on that.
Mayor, just real quick, this is something that, this being the resolution actually alludes to bringing back a future resolution that further defines the role and operation of the Ocoee Youth Council. So at that time, we could even possibly have someone, a rep from one of the other cities in Florida, see if we can get them to come. But there's more detail to come. This just establishes the Ocoee Youth Council, and I know Rob had discussion with the city attorney's office, and I have in the last couple of days, and I think we're okay as staff recommending moving forward with this.
Okay. I just want it noted. That's my concern.
Duly noted.
So I'd like to make a motion that, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'd like a motion that we approve to move forward with the Ocoee Youth Council
Resolution.
resolution.
Do we have a second?
A second.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Oliver. Go ahead with the resolution, seconded by Commissioner Firstner. Any more comments? Let's vote. All right, carries unanimously. All right. Now,
Oh, that was the agenda?
Get, we're going,
That's not even an agenda, is it?
no.
That's not the real
yet.
agenda.
No.
Come on, man.
Now we're gonna move on over to number 16, comprehensive plan amendment, capital improvement element. Update, addition to fiscal year. Who's that? There he is.
Hey, Mayor, thank you. Mike Rimmer, City Planner. This item is a statutory requirement. Each year with our budget, we adopt the 5-year capital improvements program. That table has to be adopted into our comprehensive plan. This is just a snapshot of one of the capital improvements pages. So all we're doing is taking the 5-year capital improvements program, which is adopted in our budget, and placing that table into our capital improvements element in our comp plan. You do that each year on one reading, public hearing by statute. Recommend approval. Thanks.
All right. I'm gonna open it to the public, see if there's any comments in the public on this issue. Anybody in the public have any comments on that issue? If not, I'm gonna turn it back, bring it back up to the dais. All right, any more comments? If not, I need a motion.
No, I'll make the motion to approve the 5-year CIP plan.
All right, do I hear a second?
I'll second.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Grogan, seconded by Commissioner Oliver. Let's vote. Okay, before we go to number 17, real quick on the youth council, and I think if everybody gets a copy of the thing, and of the way it's made up and how it's made, everybody gets to pick a person, and we have to nominate somebody to be, which I think it'll be Commissioner Oliver, it'll be the representative, and all that stuff. So that'll be everybody needs to get the full coverage of what we're doing there, but we didn't talk about that a while ago, but
Nominate, I'm sorry, nominate.
there has to be a person who will be the rep from the commission, which I'm proposing. Commissioner Oliver will be the man. And so, and then we all get to pick somebody that's up there for that. How many people we putting on that?
Wait a minute, we get to pick the commissioner who will be
No, we get to pick. Yeah, we do pick. We pick it.
We pick the commissioner, but is there a second thing we pick?
We are gonna pick him.
Right, okay,
But I mean, we get to pick the students. We get to pick the different students. All of us get to.
Well, actually, you don't really get to pick students. There's a committee formed by Valencia College.
Well,
Their students actually will do all the interviewing and make recommendations of the kids that apply.
That isn't what I read.
it was in there.
That isn't what I read.
that.
Just want to read it.
What's the criteria for
Where's the thing they had in
students
Bob's
being
office I
able
read the
to
other
be a
day?
part of it?
They have to be students. They have to live in Ocoee. They have to be a part of the school system, 9th grade to 12th grade.
Here it is, right here.
Oh.
All right. Composition of Ocoee Youth Council. The council will consist of 9 to 15 members who are entering grade through 9. The mayor and each commissioner will affirm the appointment of OYC members in the first year and as the vacancies occur. That's us.
Yes, you affirm the recommendations by the student
They
council
must be
from.
residents of Ocoee. During year 1, preference will be given to students attending Ocoee and Wekiva. We need to put West Orange in there too, because that's also our high school.
That is,
The south side of town, which is his.
As well as the charter school.
Yes, charter
Fuller's
school. So we'll
Crossing,
work
they're
on that.
also
Yeah,
a
we
part
get
of
to
as well.
Is that the
Vote on who goes on or
resolution?
not.
Because I read that part.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Back to number 17.
Okay, oh, yeah.
Mayor, I'm sorry. Can we jump back to 16? This is an ordinance. I'm sorry, I should have
You
read the
didn't read
title. I messed up.
Yeah, you didn't read
Let
the
me go
title.
ahead and read that if we could
All right.
re-vote on the
Re-vote.
ordinance. This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, amending the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan as adopted in 1991, as amended in order to comply with Section 163.3177 Florida statutes, amending the capital improvements element of the comprehensive plan, providing for severability, providing an effective date. No, we've had the public.
All right, we're gonna vote again. I need that same, who made that motion?
Commissioner Grogan.
Commissioner Grogan made the motion, make the motion again, please. For that number 16,
For the
Approve the ordinance for the
Capital improvements.
comprehensive plan amendment.
5-year, make the motion to approve the 5-year comprehensive plan.
Yes, I
Commissioner
second,
Oliver.
I
All right.
second it, yes.
Motion made by Commissioner Grogan, seconded by Commissioner Oliver. Let's vote again. All right, carries again. All right, now number 17. Resolution vacating and abandoning the remaining unimproved Main Street right-of-way. That must be what you would. All right. Planner Ruler.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is the city center West Orange development. This is not tied to the building A through J, which this commission has previously reviewed. This is a vacation of a portion of unimproved Main Street. As you know, we had realigned and relocated and built Main Street. The existing right-of-way, the old right-of-way still extends up in this direction. City Center West Orange has a proposed development, which includes office and retail on a parcel they own right here. And if you're physically out there on site, we have the new Main Street, we have the wide sidewalk and the street trees. This is from the sidewalk going into the land. There's no portion of sidewalk or improved right-of-way as part of the vacate. I have the area highlighted in yellow. The reason for that is the developer is proposing to build a nice office retail center, and this right-of-way creates a green area of grass. If he built up and met our urban standards, you'd have the sidewalk, then you'd have that area of green grass, then you'd have his balconies and building. So petitioning to vacate, but not only vacate, they will be, in essence, using the city pond and donating or deeding land in order to facilitate the pond and bring back more usable area to the city and for stormwater. So we have worked with City Center West Orange, sort of as a stipulation for vacate. They are going to enlarge the existing pond you see out there. They will landscape it. They will make it into a passive park with areas of the old street bricks that we have stored at Public Works that they have to keep restacking because the pallets degrade. There'll be 2 areas with the old Main Street bricks itself, and there will be this linear park, and then there's also additional lands that will be used, that will be deeded to the city. So we're kind of giving up this section, agreeing to modify the pond, and we're gaining more land with this. The Main Street is not an arterial road, so it did not require additional hearings. This is the legal description for the area of the vacate, and this is the legal description for the land that they will be giving back to the city. And with that, entertain.
We don't reserve any, there's no need for utility easements?
There is a utility easement they've worked out with Duke Energy. That's all of our stuff's in the existing right-of-way.
All right, this is a resolution of the City of Ocoee, Florida, abandoning and vacating that portion of Main Street public right-of-way lying between the westerly right-of-way line of Richmond Avenue and the easterly right-of-way line of Bluford Avenue, providing for recordation, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
All right, we'll open the public hearing up. Anybody have any comments in the public pertaining to the resolution vacating and abandoning the remaining unimproved Main Street right-of-way? All right, close it, bring it back to the dais. I need a motion.
Motion approved?
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson, just seconded by Commissioner Grogan. Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously. All right, we're going to go to the first reading of ordinance for Ocoee Landing Plan Unit Development, PUD.
This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, approving a substantial amendment to the land use plan and preliminary subdivision plan for Ocoee Landings PUD PSP for certain real property comprising approximately 20 acres located north of East Silver Star Road and south of Johio Bay subdivision pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Amending the Ocoee Landings PUD PSP to reduce the front yard setback from 25 feet to 20 feet, finding consistency with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
Public hearing. We don't have to.
No, first reading.
This is just the first reading. The second reading will be on, scheduled for February the 5th, 2019. Then we'll make the comments. All right. Second reading of ordinance, public hearing, number 19, second reading of ordinance for Emerald property, 403 2nd Street, annexation and rezoning. That was canceled? Didn't tell me that. All right. Yeah, we're at the end of the agenda. Mercy. All right, did we skip something for you guys, or y'all just here enjoying the night?
No, we're the last.
Sorry.
Did you not know it was canceled?
No, they were the Ocoee landings, the last reading we had.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was thinking they
We're
didn't.
glad to have you anyway. All right, so that's it? All
That
right.
wasn't the item, okay.
All right, thank you. All right, comments from commissioners. No more staff items in the report. All right, Commissioner Grogan.
Yeah, it's just one thing, is the canopies in your driveways, in front of your house.
Do what?
The canopies that are being, I've had 3 of them sighted on my street, up in Sabrina, and right behind me just happened to be 3 in one location right there that were recently sighted, and they had to be taken down. The canopies that are in front of your house are not allowed in the city. They never were. And it seems like when somebody complains about it, then code enforcement's gonna be involved. If nobody complains, and you've had that for a long time, that just means that your neighbors did not complain about it. But it's still against the ordinances to have a canopy up in front of your house. So please, if you get the city code enforcement to come out there and ask you to remove it, be assured that there is an ordinance against having the canopies up. They gotta be beside your house or behind your house. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Wilson.
Yes, I have a couple concerns. As we know that there is going to be open enrollment, not open enrollment, golly. that's wrong. There's going to be, there's 3 offices that are up for election this year. And in the past, we have 2 commissioners and the mayor. And in the past, the Ocoee Women's Club, which I'm a member, which I don't think I can vote on this if we bring it to that point. They have put on the political forum, and that will be planned after the closing date of the, we have a closing date of, I'm sorry.
25th of January.
25th of January, that we'll know if there's going to be, what elections will be taking place, and the Ocoee Women's Club in the past has done the political forum. We need the commission to approve that the Women's Club would use the chambers for that event, and also what the commission has done in the past is paid for the taping of that. So I will have to recuse myself since I'm a board member of the Women's Club, but if that's something that the commission wants to pursue this year, again, the Women's Club is asking for that to happen.
Do you hear a motion?
I'll make a motion that we move forward with the Women's
might
Club
not need-
holding the.
We don't know.
All right, motion made by,
Yeah, for them to hold the, debate,
Political forum
forum here in the diocese.
and the
do you
taping.
hear a second?
A second.
Seconded by Commissioner First. All right, any more discussion? If not, let's vote.
And I'll be completing Form 8. Is that
All right.
correct? On that one, okay, and also I assume, was that the paying for the taping
Yeah.
also?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the other item is, I am a member of the Ocoee Christian Church, and as you know, that the parking lot has been used by the contractor regarding when they've been working on Blueford Avenue. And so the parking lot kind of got a little messed up, and it was just seeded. And so the parking lot is not available on Sundays and Wednesday nights for members to park. And they're asking if they can use for approximately 2 months, trying to keep traffic off of that property, if they can use the computer store parking lot. And they were looking for other potential city property they could park on. I realize that in front of where the new city hall is going, that's still parking, correct? Availability, that's
yeah.
close there. But they want to use it Wednesday evenings and Sundays. I mean, it's not a large congregation, but just so they have other places to park. So they're asking if they can use some places within the city during those nights for the next couple of months while the grass is growing in. Because when they had trucks in there during the week, they were tearing that parking lot up a little bit. And so now, again, to get the grass growing again, that's one of their efforts. They'll be using on-street parking also. Again, I'm asking the commission if it's gonna be about 2 months.
I don't
Any
think we have a
consensus
problem
in-
with that. Anybody have a problem with that? No. Nobody's got a
Okay.
problem.
The other thing I want to know is, because Sunday I was parking, and there's some barrels along, is that there's some barrels that are there on, I was
You
gonna
need to
say
call
that
Public Works.
they were right in front of where City Hall is.
I know.
Are those parking, I didn't park there because I assume the whole group is off, but are those available or not available? There's about 6 spaces there, because most of the other spots along there are all handicapped, not
They
everyone's
still
handicapped.
got, they still got the barrels there, but I don't know. I mean, we'd have to ask, I think you need Steve.
If that's not permissible, because they don't want to create an issue.
I apologize, I was in another discussion and didn't hear the question.
The parking in front of where the new City Hall is going, those
Yes.
parallel parking spaces, there's barrels. Are they available to be used, or are we not using those spaces?
When you, the spaces, right now, no, if you notice, most of the power lines are over those. There's a few we could remove, and we may, I was looking at that on the way in this evening. The ones in front of the future City Hall, there isn't a power line over it, but I did notice up on this end, there's power lines extending over, so we wouldn't want people parking under them while we're trying to remove them.
Because they're looking for parking for Sundays and on Wednesday nights, while they're reseeding the grass and the parking lot of the church.
Okay.
So they want to use the computer store, the pavement on the computer store. And I was thinking in front of where the new City Hall is
Well-
going, that parking.
But did you ask the doggy place? They're not open on Sunday.
No, I didn't ask them yet. They just,
They wouldn't
well, the
care.
computer store's closer.
Well, no, but that's
Yeah.
right beside it. I mean.
I can take a look at that.
Yeah.
That one section between McKee and Oakland, I don't think there's any conflicts there.
Okay.
But coming farther north, up here in front of the existing City Hall, there are power lines and poles in the parking.
Where City Hall's gonna be built?
We're talking about where City Hall's going to be built,
Yes.
because that's closer to the Christian church.
Where the,
That's what I'm thinking,
carnival usually is.
the pavement, where there's mulch and things like that. That's usable, correct?
Yeah, oh yeah, they could park there
Okay,
without
so
a
as long as
problem.
the commission just is giving them the permission to use that, they're very thankful.
$5 a cup.
You want collect? You want me there Sunday
No, I'm just
morning?
kidding.
Okay, I think that's all I have at this point. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Ferstner.
No comment, thank you.
Commissioner Oliver.
Yes, just a couple things. I'll be very brief, as I know you want to go home. First, I'm just excited about 2019 right now, as we're just beginning in Q1 here. The city has close to about $200 million worth of projects in new developments. That's very exciting to see. I believe there's some type of new development or project that's going on in just about every district. There's something going on that is actually going to move us forward and improve our city. I'm equally excited about the Youth Council, moving forward with that and being able to have our youth involved in our city government and understanding how government works. There was one item that I wanted to talk about. I'm going to table that for next time. That's not time to have this discussion concerning the Hallowed Ground Memorial on I forgot the name of the road it's on. What's the road? Baskin Ridge Road, yeah. So that's just, no. But nonetheless, I want to talk about a mission statement. I want to talk about what is the mission statement? Why should an organization have a mission statement? I have looked kind of far and wide and see if we had a mission statement in the city. I looked at other cities and see what the mission statement looks like. Basically, what the mission statement is going to do is going to remind us, our teams, our leadership, as to why we exist. Why does this city exist? It makes us, the organizations, it makes us successful as an organization. The mission statement is going to serve as a North Star for us. It takes everyone, it gives us a clear direction as to where we're going in the city. It gives us a vision. So basically, who are we? What is our mission? The city of Orlando is known for the city beautiful. Their mission is to enhance the quality of life in the city by developing public services in a knowledgeable, responsive, and financially responsible manner. The city of Ocoee, they're known for their indoor foliage capital of the world. Their mission is to preserve and enhance the quality of life. Winter Park. Their mission is to preserve and enhance the quality of life in Winter Park by informing their city staff, city residents, and the Winter Park community for news, events, programs, projects, innovations, and activities related to the city of Winter Park. So everybody has a mission statement, not everyone, but most of the cities around us does have some kind of mission statement to define who they are. So you'll see that I've actually gave you guys these handouts, these little colorful handouts that says mission, vision, core values. So what I'm envisioning is, I'd like for us to start as a city, as our city leadership, as our city staff, to start looking at the city as a whole, look at defining our core values. I identify 4 core values as kind of like pillars. There's 4 pillars that sets up the foundation of who we are. And our core values establishes that. Our mission sits upon those pillars. The mission as to who we are, defined as to what our mission is as it pertains to the citizens of Ocoee. And then finally, our vision sits on top of that as our guiding light, as our star, as to this is what we're all focusing on. So you see the triangle as in our vision. So what I'm saying, I say all that to say this, that I would like to get a consensus from this commission to ask our leadership, our staff members, to look into drafting up some type of core values and mission and vision for our city. We have a lot going on in our city. We have a lot of programs going on here. We have a lot of new development going on. But what I have not been able to find in the city is a mission, a vision, or any core values that is actually set, that this mission and vision is set upon. So with that, I want to see if we can get some kind of consensus that we would at least look at drafting up some of these ideas to define who we are as a city.
Anybody want to comment?
Food for thought.
I always have to open the microphone. No, I think I know where you're going. I think it's one of those things that takes a little time to digest. I think that, I see where you're, I believe that where you're going is, it's taking a factor of the city and bringing it into, where the city beautiful, but that, I believe.
Center of good living.
Center of good, excuse me, city, Orlando, I had Orlando, didn't I?
Yeah,
Sorry.
Orlando.
The center of good living. Yeah, we only live here, right? But you're looking for a more defined statement, not just,
Absolutely.
you're looking, and I see, we realize with Apopka, they are the foliage capital, okay? What would you suggest would be, I'm sure you've been thinking about this, what would you suggest as the core mission of
Well, I only have some rough notes and ideas about it, but I would prefer that it would be a all-inclusive effort, not just for myself, but maybe sitting down with the staff or members of the staff to say, hey, where do we start to define who we are, where we are, where we define our core values? We start with the core values and we build from there and build a mission statement.
But I don't know if it's so much staff as it would be us.
I'm just fixing, I'll make them comment.
Okay, sorry,
I
okay.
don't particularly, staff most of them don't live here. Most of us are elected by the citizens to do our part for the city. It's our responsibility to look after what the mission, and the mission to me has always been, is to serve citizens. Whether it be to be a center of good living, to be the center of good living, you have to serve citizens and look after the citizens and look after the city. That's what the mission is. So I don't want the staff coming up that don't live here telling me who I'm elected by the citizens to do that. So if we're going to work on something down the road, we can all sit down and work a workshop and come up with our mission statements, not to have the staff do it. This is our town. We're elected by the citizens. They're hired to do the job and run the city. It's our job to tell the citizens what our mission is to do. Now, this city has survived for a long time, and it's been going in the right direction. It is really going in the right direction in the last 20, 25 years. It's not going to fall or collapse without the cores, but the cores will be there. I think all of us have different thought processes of what our city should be. I think we can maybe sometime sit down and work on a workshop, because we're going to be building a new city hall. When we do that, I think there is a mission statement there. It might not be out publicly. I don't see Orlando's. I know it's the city beautiful, and I see them say that. But we are servers of the vision or the mission, because we're elected by citizens, and that's what we're supposed to do. So if it comes down to it, we can all have a workshop and come up with our different thoughts of what we're supposed to do. But this city is way, way ahead of where it's been.
Well, I think that, that again, with the different ideas and the thoughts, I think that's what makes it unique, because we all have different ideas as to who we are and what the city should be.
Yeah.
And the only reason I mention the staff is the fact that they may not live here, but they work here.
Well,
They love the organization, who we are. Obviously, if they didn't like who we were, they wouldn't be working here. They'd find somewhere else to go.
They make good money.
So there's a buy-in for the staff to say, hey, you know what, I work here. I mean, just like working with any organization.
No,
if you're a part of an organization, you may be a part of that organization defining who they are.
Well,
So that's just the buy-in.
I know, but I'm not arguing with you. I think it's a good thing to do something, but we weren't lost when somebody got here. You know, we're not lost. This city is amazing. This is a beautiful place. It is a beautiful town to be in, and I think if we all sit down, and I think it's up to us five, because we're elected to do it. We're elected to run it for the citizens. Each one of us is in those areas, so that's what we have to do. And I think if you ask them, that's kind of what Commissioner Wilson, I'm not trying to say what she said, but she said the same thing. It's her vision too. So we will work on that. We can come up and come with those things. It's like everything we do here, it all comes down to a vote at this table. But I think the vision is here. We all got I think 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, our vision was where we had all the citizens come in and we let the citizens participate in the vision they wanted to see this town, not just us. And if you're gonna let people decide what the vision or what the mission is, I do believe you have to put the citizens involved in it. And workers will do the stuff and help us, but I think you have to involve citizens who live here and the commissioners.
I agree wholeheartedly. Yes.
I just think some things are gonna be here that's been here. I keep telling you, I've lived here a long time, more than anybody else. And I'm telling you, this place is amazing, and it's gone in the right direction. We've had a great group of people for the last 10, 15 years working with the workers, with the citizens that have been involved. The citizens have been more involved in this city than anywhere I know that participate. So when we do a vision or a mission, we need to let citizens be involved in it. But I think we come up with our own parts and we bring it to the meeting and we work on it, then we ask the citizens to help join in.
Absolutely, absolutely. And perhaps there will be consideration as to allow the staff to make recommendations if they would like. Because there may be citizens, there may be staff members that say, you know, I do live in Ocoee. Or I may not live in Ocoee, but I work here and I would like to make a contribution to that mission and that vision.
I'm not saying they won't, but I'm saying it comes down to our responsibility.
And we are the
We're
center
each
of the
elected by the citizens of this city to do that. All right. We'll have a workshop sometime and do that, because we're gonna have to do some stuff on the city hall and things like that.
So do we have a consensus that we will have a workshop?
Well,
I think that, personally, I think at this point, we've got so much that we're doing for our residents that bringing them in and asking them, that's not a problem, or asking them what they think, if they're still happy with the center, you know, of good living, because we are.
we might want
But
to change the name.
They may, you know, we changed our city emblem to something a little more, it was
Well, the last
marketing,
emblem said
our
that, right?
creative.
Yeah, that was
And
that
that
took a
was-
while to do that.
And that
too.
took a while to do that, and folks love it.
Yep.
And, again, change is good, but we got a lot on our plate too, so it's just something adding into it. But I think right now with downtown, we've got a lot going on, and yes, when we do a workshop on that, to me, that might be a time to discuss it. I hate to see an extra workshop just for it. I think you can combine it with a workshop we're doing, because there's a lot of things that we're planning. And, hey, progress is good. Change is good. Slowly.
Yeah. Well, like I said, if you've lived here, and
Moderation.
most people have, you can see the difference in this town in the last few years. Since everything has grown all over the city. All right, so now, I got a report coming about Founder's Day, but I want to bring up Founder's Day too, because I've had a couple people suggest at one of the board meetings they wanted to change Founder's Day. Well, I've talked to different people, and I've talked to Rob about it, so I'm bringing it to you guys. You know, Founder's Day is just like spring fling. I mean, Founder's Day is Founder's Day because the city was founded, nothing else. only because in all the cities you go to, they have Founder's Day. They have a city charter that May the 13th, 1925, that was a founded city. So that's what we do. We do Founder's Day. So we've been doing that for 25 years. So I just want you all to know, and if you want to vote on it, we can vote on it up here. But I don't have any intentions of changing it because our committee works on it all the time. It's nothing about except what the city was founded, and that's what we're doing. It wasn't no person that founded it. And one of the things about it is the way the city started changing is when it did get founded in 1925 and moved to where they're supposed to be, and over the years and towards things happening the way it ought to. So now, if you guys want to vote on it,
I don't know, I don't understand, I honestly don't
What we
understand what
voting
you're
on?
talking
I don't
well,
understand.
because somebody brings up at you were there the other night, and wanting to change the name of Founder's Day. They've
Well,
tried
that-
twice meetings now.
That discussion was stopped. That
No, I
discussion
know,
stopped
but
there.
I just want to make sure everybody here knows we're not.
Yeah,
it's-
that discussion stopped there.
It appears at another meeting outside of here, a board meeting, that someone mentioned they want to change the name. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I had no idea what you're talking about.
But it was, yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I just wanted everybody to understand that,
Why is that board even
I don't know.
talking about that?
I don't know, but it was. So I just want everybody here to know, we decided to stay at Founder's Day, so, you know.
We'll take that under advisement.
Under advisement. And, so, while I'm talking about is what's her name gonna start working, or we wait till we have to come up with a?
She's already started.
She's working?
She has a ton of information, yes.
Huh?
She's already started.
But I mean, are we paying her yet?
No.
Oh, well, that's.
No,
started.
she's already, well, she's started with
When does that happen?
the application
Oh, okay.
processes. She's already started with that.
Oh, okay, all right.
She's already started with,
That's the,
with the high schools and getting
is she right now,
applications.
what, volunteer until,
She's been volunteering until,
because nothing
okay.
has been.
Yeah.
But she's got experience at it,
a
so.
lot of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
This young lady out here?
No, she's gone. We've been here far too long.
Yeah, that's, all right. Anybody else got anything else?
Hey, when you're off for a month, this is okay.
There was something else too. So you're leaving, you're going up to, I forgot, I let the secret out.
Yeah, you should let it out the back.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Hey,
There goes your surprise trip. All right. Thank you very much. Sorry about that. Meet adjourned.